What's up, everybody, and welcome to Flagrant. And today we are joined by the hottest thing on OnlyFans. We have Whitney Cummings pushing that meat wallet for $5 a month. Go check it out. No, you just said that I didn't watch any of the roast.
No, I just.
Is that what you just said?
I just said.
What did you just say? That I didn't watch 1 minute of the roast.
No, I said I sent you a link and
just tell me what you said. Don't do the golden retriever outside the car window on the highway face. Let's just talk to each other.
I love that you just called me a dog and no,
because when you think I'm setting you up for something, you do this thing where you're like this.
No, this is just how I look best in the light. I'm getting older, Andrew.
Oh, but what's your biological age?
Yeah, that's true.
What's your bio age though? Like, let's figure that out.
That's pre-resveratrol.
Okay, let's.
You said I didn't watch 1 minute of the roast. That's what you said.
You mocking that biological age thing. Let's not pretend that you have become a complete fucking dork. I listened to your last episode where you guys were like, and we're talking about why women are more admitted into college more and that men don't. Who gives a shit? When did you guys become such dorks? Who cares?
Free tape.
What the
Come on.
tape?
I'm Team Andrew Tate,
like,
bro.
What?
Free tape.
Dude, I was down when you guys were like hanging out with Alex Jones and fucking the fake porn star from North Korea, and now you guys are like the fake porn star.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
I don't know. Now you guys are like, and the Pew Research study says that incels, like, who cares?
Yeah, but young
are your fans
Sagar getting
incels?
shots from Whitney for
I
no
love
reason.
Sagar, dude. I love
Sexual
Sagar.
tension, I
But
think.
it's just like it's a lot of statistics. Like, what are these? Who does these studies? Like, we're all just like, okay. It's just like like dork gossip.
Yeah. Didn't you put a whole movie out called The Female Brain that was just like the girl version of what you just said?
Are you asking a rhetorical question given the fact you're in the movie?
Now you went Down syndrome, Nick. You have two versions. It's golden retriever, Down
She
syndrome.
just popped her tits out to distract everyone.
You said I didn't watch a minute of the roast. I did watch the minute where you started
watched-
crying for no fucking reason. And you gave Bert the same compliment you give every man in comedy, which is, you didn't try to rape me.
I've given that to like 3 men.
Listen, every time you say that to me, you say it to Rogan, you say it to Bert. You're like, I trusted you.
Who else would I've? You're the 3 guys that are like my brothers.
Nobody wants to rape you in comedy.
Jesus.
It's just in acting.
First of all, okay.
In comedy, we're good.
Okay, I don't need someone yelling at me about rape with that mustache because that's exactly every time I have someone has attempted to rape me.
To scream at a woman, nobody wants to rape you, and you're like, stop saying that.
Except fucking shiny Luigi over here. By the way, no one wants to rape me. I've never felt more violated
In
than
comedy.
I have never felt more violated than you trying to move my microphone around for 20 minutes before this show started.
Yeah.
That was like
It is
so.
back where
Is
it
she
started.
really gonna do that? Are you really gonna do that?
That's
She
wild.
literally gave a whole speech about how there's no Me Too situation. Our poor sound guy Shub.
He is poor. They
was
do not pay him. I can tell. Literally broke. Why was he terrified of my tits? Did
He
you
was
think I
terrified that you were
explode?
gonna do exactly what you
Yes!
just did.
You thought you were gonna scream. Oh, the mic guy was trying to rape me as soon as
Why
you got on
would
the
I?
pod.
You're
First of all,
such
no,
a
first of all-
Because you did.
First
You're
of all,
such
no
a
one can rape me.
contrarian,
I
dude.
don't say no. I'm unrapeable. You just
Whoa.
gotta.
We tried to tell you that. You're unrapeable.
No, that's
you
not
took
true.
It so
I
personally.
think guys could do it. I wouldn't do it, and I think comedians respect you, and we would not do it.
Yeah, Andrew's strong. You've been on peptides. I feel like you could fight.
I feel like.
You do. Can I say, objectively speaking,
Sure.
you are annoying. No. Objectively speaking, I said that I think you're in great shape. Your
are.
biological age has got to be at least, I don't know, fucking good. It's got to be good. What is it? You're like, I think your biological
But
age,
you're-
can I be honest? 27 if you're a Great Dane. I think that your
They give it to you in dog years?
biological age.
Keep your head out the window.
Well, dude, there's no context for the biological
Look
age
how
thing.
dominant you have to be.
What do you
Like, what
mean?
is this?
Why
Like,
can't I-
just showing
I
up to
don't-
people's places,
What do
pushing
you-
your tits in front of an Indian guy.
It's
Can I tell you what's going on?
Tell me
You know
something.
what's happened to you? So Andrew, I got a lot.
Tell me something.
I got a lot of lectures from Andrew. Hollywood's dead. The movie business is dead. It's over. Until he starts getting offers to be in movies, in which case it's not dead. I'll move anything around to go to Atlanta for 2 hours to wait in a trailer for 5 minutes of screen time.
Yep.
Next to that guy.
Much less than 5 minutes.
Next to that,
Much less than
the
5
third
minutes.
lead on Modern Family.
Yes.
So now, he used to be like cool, like like now he went into Hollywood where everything is like all wackward, sure.
Yeah.
Backwards and whack, and now all of a sudden he's like, I'm Hollywood guy. Like,
listen, you're right.
by the way, but then
You're right.
but then
I
I'm like,
did it.
He's
I found
a
a way.
Hollywood guy, but every movie he shoots is like in Canada, Calgary. Like, where's this shit coming out, dude? Is this shit for fucking Tubi? Like,
Yes.
what? No, it isn't.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, kind of. Tubi got the rights to it.
Because
Yeah.
by the way, do you realize every movie that we're dude, the sound of movie, like I will not do a production that is on a
You're on OnlyFans.
I know, I was just
Listen to me
You're
though.
on
How about this?
OnlyFans.
How about this? At least they're words. Okay? Hulu, Voodoo, Tubi, Voodoo. Like Voodoo is the new net. We're like, what the fuck?
Is that how you keep your so young, Voodoo? Is that what you've been
Voodoo.
doing?
I mean, look, bitch. I got that voodoo pussy. No, but like, I'm not doing shows for sounds. Voodoo, Tubi, OnlyFans, at least they're words. Like, because I feel like at this point, Hollywood is just like naming
Just
their
try
networks.
a different argument. There's a better argument than the sounds. Would have been like, just try a different. All of it is just sounds.
Just because you
Words
don't know
are
the
just
name of these
sounds.
networks because they
Netflix,
have-
HBO, what is just has to be letters?
Yeah, but
Amazon.
Where are you with
That's a word.
Amazon's a word, but you know, Amazon has taken Saudi money. Apple's taken Saudi
Oh
money.
my God! You're on a sex trafficking site. Do you think every girl on that site
is crazy.
18 years old?
It's crazy
You think
to take
they're
a moral
verifying
stance.
every girl
Stop
on
being
that
angry
site?
because you got married at the wrong time.
I got married at the right time. My biological age is 64. Okay, I have 20 more good years on this earth. I get married now.
By the way, if Montclair was a person, I mean,
Do you guys know Montclair?
how did he get
They don't
so...
even know Do you guys know Montclair?
Yes.
That's how old that reference is. This used to be a place where
Montclair is a
people
city.
would go.
It's a city.
Yeah, it's Jersey.
I shot my special in Newark. It's right when we stayed in Montclair.
I lived in Jersey when I was
What's
broke.
up with you? What's up with you today? Why do you want to fight with me today?
I didn't want to fight.
You want to fight with me today? What's
We
going on?
always do fight. I think.
You don't. I'm not on. I'm only on OnlyFans TV, and this is on.
Oh, I'm so
This is-
sorry.
by the way,
I'm
this
so
is
sorry.
this is your.
I'm on Playboy
I'm
TV.
supportive of this. I want you to go more porno. I always thought that was where your strengths lie. I do believe that. You know what I mean? And I got upset because you're obviously. Are you in a relationship? What's going on?
You're
Why
gonna
do you
love
look
this.
at me with these faces like it's difficult?
She
This
can't control
is-
that.
Is listening hard for you?
I-
This is what it looks like when you're listening. This is you listening, right? This is you. I'm not talking. What do I do with my face while the other people talk?
She's been hanging out with the Whitney robot too long. That's what it
That's
is.
the problem. This is how you age. They're too reactive when you're listening. Even right now, you're trying to not do it,
I
and
know,
you're
now
just
I'm kind
pursing
of-
your lips like this.
I know. I'm just like.
This is how you listen, right? You just go like this.
You love roasts. You should have done the roast.
I should have.
Or he should have watched it. Either one. You know what I
We
mean?
don't know if I didn't watch a minute of it.
Well, but based on the way you're, my guess is you like.
You came out
scanned
here
through it.
projecting
I didn't
insecurity
project.
that I did not watch it.
It's sad. If usually when people are projecting, they're doing this to the other person. That's what you've been doing to me.
Yes, I am projecting.
It's okay if you didn't watch it.
Do you think I didn't watch it?
Well, I mean, I flew out here to talk about. It's fine if you didn't.
Do you think I didn't
know
watch
you're
it?
very busy.
Do you think I didn't watch it?
No, because it's you wouldn't like. I don't know. You can't turn your phone. Maybe you got confused. 'Cause I don't know. Maybe you tried to watch it, but it plays regular. There's no like turn your computer. It's just like maybe you didn't know what to do with your hands. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yes, I
love
did
this.
watch it. I did watch it.
And can I tell you also,
Yeah.
like, I just miss roasting. Like, I've had to, like, the only places I'm able to do, like, hardcore roast jokes now at this point are, like, corporate gigs. Like, dude, I love doing corporate gigs because it's also, like, it's a big business, I think, for more, like, female comics. Because, you know, like, being a stand-up as a woman, it's not a business. It's not a viable,
Can you tell us how hard it is? Like,
I'm not saying it's hard
tell us how
necessarily.
hard it is to
I'm
be a
not saying
female
it's-
comic. Like,
it's
that's
not-
what we love to listen to.
That's not what I'm saying. I think it's hard to be
It's
a
so tough on the road.
No, it's not what I fucking said. What are you
And guys
doing?
trying to tell you to go back to the hotel.
No,
This
bitch.
is so different than being a woman anywhere
don't
else
have-
in life.
It's not-
How is being a comic on the road any different than just going out to a bar? I always hear this from female comics. They're like, guys always trying to go back to your hotel. And it's like, look at the face again. You're listening
no,
again.
I just
You
put-
put on your
you're just
listening
putting
face.
words in my mouth.
I'd rather you look at me and just think about like a dog bone. Just think about a bone. Just think about a bone. Think about your happy face, and then look like this when I'm talking to you. Okay? Listen, it's tough
Is
being
this
a female
like the
comic.
new Adderall? Is this like the new
I
Is this
miss
some new
Adderall.
batch?
I want
I feel like you
Adderall.
got a wonky batch.
No,
this
I got
feels
it. I'm
like
on
a,
3 Zins.
What's a Zins? Oh, this is like the nicotine.
Nicotine, yeah.
Okay, got
And
it, got it.
peptides.
Okay, okay, the peptide.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
more testosterone.
No.
Peptide,
I take it for estrogen.
but peptides
I'm
naturally
increasing
makes
my
more
estrogen.
testosterone. Okay,
No.
got it.
No. I want more estrogen. I want to be able to connect with you. You're full of fucking estrogen, dude.
Really?
I think not at all.
You know what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what? I think you're gonna love this.
Not at all,
I'm
seriously.
dating a girl.
Oh
Wow.
God.
I know.
Did he transition the vet?
No, well, you know what's weird?
The vet transition?
I think I might be a trans man.
Oh goodness gracious.
Like, how would you know if you were a trans man?
Listen, if you want to be back in Hollywood, there are other ways to go.
Yeah.
Just there are
not-
other ways.
It's
like
not like super. I mean, you've seen me date a lot of men that are
Yeah,
way more
yeah, yeah.
feminine than any woman I've had. In order to
I like the last guy you were dating,
I
the
know, I'm saying in
veterinarian.
order to get like masculine energy in LA, you
I
just,
will
like,
say
have to
this:
date a
you
woman at
told
this
me
point.
he was a
blue
vet,
hair
and I
around.
thought that you were dating like a
Veteran?
veteran.
Yeah.
And then I saw him, and then I was like, oh, it's the other vet, but it was still like a
You were
nice
like, yeah,
guy.
she would find a guy that had his legs blown off so he couldn't run away.
Yeah.
That sounds like something
Exactly.
she would do.
Yeah, yeah.
I could see you doing that. I could see.
It's the only way to get a man that has guns in this country. Can you imagine?
I mean, there are other
In
places
LA,
you
I'm
could
like,
move.
do you have a gun? Guys are like, no. And I'm like, I just can't. I don't know. I know it's like a problem in America, but
Do you have a gun?
I have one in my house. It's not loaded though. I have no bullets
Jesus,
on
dude,
premises.
That shit is fun.
I would have.
So you have a prop.
What?
You have a
Well,
prop.
no, but it's like if you have a problem at your house,
Yeah.
so when I dyed my hair fucking blue, I got all these guys that I guess there's some anime video game where there's a girl with blue hair and then all these anime dorks, they put on headsets and they thought we were married or in a simulation together or something. So a lot of dorks would start showing up in my house because my shit was on Reddit or whatever. And so you know, LAPD, I mean, their whole thing is like, you don't really need, like, you know, a BB gun I have loaded, but if you have a gun, like, that solves half of your problems.
I feel like you're
Dog
having
gun.
4 different conversations with yourself right now.
You know what? First of all, how dare you? I came in here, I'm being attacked by you motherfuckers. I'm trying. I'm
You sat
trying.
down. You said I went
I didn't
Hollywood.
say anything. You said my Indian friend tried to molest you. Of course I'm gonna say something.
I said the opposite. I can't get anyone to molest me anymore. We're going on to like movie sets, TV sets.
You went to women, huh?
Sound
So wait,
guys
you're really
won't touch
dating a
you.
girl?
Yeah, I mean it's like
You know what that
my
proves
mom
to me,
just died.
honestly?
Yeah.
Don't do the
grief
mom
does-
died thing and now
grief-
we gotta feel bad.
But I don't. Why you did that? I feel
Don't
great about
do
it.
that.
It's a relief. I'm
Don't
glad my
do
mom
that.
died. She was a hate. She was a. It was not. Didn't love me much.
Welcome, yo.
Yeah, dude.
I'm saying? Welcome
My
to
mom
the
was-
club,
My
yo.
mom was an asshole, dude. I
Really?
mean, she put me into like modeling when I was a teenager. Like, I look back at pictures. I'm
You
just
are
like,
beautiful, and you know, but you.
Why'd you say word? Come on, bro. Why'd you say
I was
word?
actually. Rogan and I were talking about this, to be honest with you, about how stunning
every
you
now
were.
and then, Rogan, because we have such a platonic relationship.
was
us
totally
two,
platonic.
Every now and then, like one of my guy friends will be like,
Tell us about it.
well, no, he'll just like, you're like pretty, and I'm like, what? Like
Yes,
it's like I don't.
yes, you're a
but
very beautiful
That's very
woman.
nice, but
now you're sliding that meat over to a girl, right? Like,
Well, no, it's
what's
not
the
like
deal with that?
super serious. It's just like grief does wild shit. Do you know what I mean?
This kind of proves a theory I've always had about you, which is you just want company.
Interesting. To run a company.
No.
I just want
You
companies.
just
yes.
want company. You
True.
just want something around, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like something that kind of fits your schedule, fits your lifestyle, fits
Yeah.
everything. But you don't want to be completely, dependent on that
I
person.
think it's going to be different now, and there's a couple things. Also, I just went off birth control. I was on birth control for 20 years.
You're 63 years old. What do you need birth control? What is the point of taking birth
I've
control?
been on birth control. So what birth control does is it makes your body think you're pregnant. So number
Yes.
one, you keep on weight. So now I think that's part of the reason that I
You got shredded.
And
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
you like hypervigilant, like paranoid.
Yeah.
You smell pheromones differently, so you're attracted to a different kind of man. Like they always say, before you marry someone, you should make sure they go off birth control for at least a year before you like get married to make sure you're still
It's
attracted.
just progesterone, right?
They're all kind of different. The one that I had was the Mirena IUD because I had such bad migraines. But like, I didn't even realize because when you're pregnant, think about it, it makes sense. You would biologically want to be attracted to someone that's more of a risk taker, someone that would be sort of more of a protector. So it's like I was fucking with guys with like
Less of a
chain
risk taker.
wallets.
Less of a risk
No.
taker.
You would want for the father of your child maybe, but you would want someone that would be able to protect your child.
Yeah, but
You
risk
know?
taker, he could die, and then I got to raise this
Yeah,
kid
but
alone.
someone that can like also fight for your kid, who's you know that kind of thing. And then I was like just attracted to such more like extreme, like intense people, like addicts, like motorcycles, shit
Veterinarians?
like that.
When did you get
He
off?
was a rock climber
Talking
too. He
about
was a
it.
rock climber
Don't
too.
do that. Don't you dare do that. It's not a rock climber in the 1700s when we didn't have cables and shit.
What's going on? Did
I need to know what's going on. You come on here, you say you're a big old bull dyke out of the nowhere.
Hold on. I'm
right?
not a bull dyke.
Come on.
What did Emma take down your Die Hard poster? What's going on? What's going on at home, Andrew?
You come in.
What's going on at home?
You come in and you tell me that you're lying about
What's
something.
going on? Are you shooting?
I need to get to the bottom
Are
of
you
it.
shooting blanks? Why are you such a grump?
Yes. How am I grumpy?
You have some rage at me, Andrew. This is a new kind of rage.
This is a good defensive strategy. You come in here, you
Why
accuse.
do I even
This
have
is
to be
gaslighting.
defensive?
This is gaslighting. Do you learn this from your lesbians?
Yes. She's been dating women now. She knows all the
now
tricks.
they know how to do it.
I've always
you
been a
come
woman.
in here.
I've always been a woman. What are you
Start
talking about?
dating women.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the first time I've actually dated a woman. It's actually just like a little more like helpful. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh God.
Is this just the first time you've had
Did
a
you
female
just
friend?
prove? No.
yeah,
Did you
I
just
just-
prove what I'm saying? I literally said you want to be with
Let's
some
talk
company
about something
that can
you
be an
wanna-
assistance to you, and then you're like, you know what? It's just a little more helpful.
You know what, guys? How
Having
about
another
this?
woman
Let's
around.
talk about something you guys want to talk about. Let's
Let's.
talk about how more women are being admitted to universities these days than men. How do you feel about
Where
it?
did you go to school?
Who gives a shit? UPenn.
You went to UPenn.
Yes, I did.
Damn.
Got you. Okay.
Ivies.
Yep. I like how Andrew
Is it
has
an
this
Ivy?
mustache and
Yes.
it's not long enough
They
to
count
twirl.
UPenn as an Ivy?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
Ivy.
very much an Ivy.
Really? Yeah. Not really though.
Yeah, no, it is like actually an Ivy.
It's like one. It's like Stanford,
No,
where it's like
no,
not really,
no.
but it's
It's an
kind of
actual
like kind
Ivy.
of.
Well, I
and
will
it's not
say-
even like Cornell, you know, where that's like kind of an
I
Ivy.
will say
UPenn's legit.
fucking didn't take Epstein money.
Whoa.
Only Ivy, I think, that didn't.
Yeah.
They like put out a letter being like, we fucking knew it. I was like, all right.
I bet they've definitely done nothing wrong.
Which, by the way,
I
I
bet
did
their
this.
endowment is completely clean.
I got so dude.
Yeah.
I got in so much trouble for this. I did this corporate event, and I always do roast jokes there. And Princess Beatrice was there, and you know her dad is
From what, Monaco or something like that?
No, her dad is Prince Andrew, the guy that was like in the photo that might have been photoshopped.
Fergie and Andrew's daughter.
And everybody was like so worried that I was gonna like say something, which I was like, I have to fucking address this. You know what I
have to.
mean? It bombed really bad, but
What was
I
the
stand
joke?
behind it. Well, I was like, you know, Princess Beatrice, I just want you to know, like, I have no judgments like about your dad. Like, Epstein Island is actually just a really sensitive subject for me because a lot of my friends died trying to swim there.
Funny.
So that's great. So you're taking
Haters,
Epstein money.
dude.
This is
Yeah,
perfect.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
You're
and-
making up for UPenn.
Dude, and then I said, I know that your dad did not go to Epstein Island because my friends Chrissy Teigen and Chelsea Handler told me they never saw him there. Didn't go well. Didn't
Just
go well.
silence?
Just dead silence.
I love
and then
that.
I roasted this like Saudis for like 10 minutes, just bombed and bombed. Because it was like, you know, Saudi, I mean, we're now in a full alliance with Saudi. Like, you know, Hollywood is being bought by Saudi. And I was like just trying to make the point, like this is like, you know, what did I say? It was like, oh, because it was for billionaires. It was like tech billionaires. And I was like, how can Saudi be any worse than what we're doing? Like, you know, half the people in this room just moved to a desert where women don't have rights. It's called Texas. And if I'm gonna pick which one, I'd rather go to the one where I don't have to work.
Texas is better than Saudi.
What's that?
Texas is better than Saudi.
Yeah, but Saudi's like, I think they're like trying to be cool now. Like it's like,
So is Texas,
They
dude.
just
We got
trying to break out.
Austin.
Yeah. Wait,
You got the
why do you
mothership.
not like Texas?
no, I love Texas. I mean, I was trying to move there a while ago, but
What happened to your finger?
I sliced it on something.
Giving her
WD-40.
a girl that come hither.
Oh, did you? Was
You
it
know what's
pussy
really
lips?
So my
Did you slice it on some fresh pussy lips? Is that Did they let you get first dibs on the OnlyFans? Like right when they turn 18, do you get to look at the pictures?
Why do you think there's like a, why do you think
Isn't it weird that
why
like
do you think
the
there's
second you turn 18, there's a site like let's see the pussy for
But why do you
$5?
think
That's
that
not a little
there's
weird.
dude? What there's really the fucked up shit. Do you remember People Magazine? Fucking 2 months ago, JonBenet Ramsey was on the cover. Do you remember this?
No.
2 months ago?
Like 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I like couldn't like it didn't sit right. That shit's never sat right with me. This like obsession with JonBenet Ramsey, this like baby in lipstick.
Who's JonBenet Ramsey?
She was the girl that got
She got
a
killed. She
toddler.
was like a beauty queen, like as like
Well,
a
she was
5-year-old.
4.
She was on the
Yeah.
cover of
Like a
all the
5-year-old.
tabloids
No,
when we
she
were growing
was
up.
just on the cover of it again because she had just turned 18 and on like 8chan
No,
and
she
shit.
didn't.
She would have
died.
she would have turned 18. She would be 18
Are we
like
doing
this
would
year.
have birthday? Like how old
That's
is
what
Jesus
people was
now?
doing.
No.
I get it, and that's
no,
gross.
It's gross. It's like pedophiles that they did a countdown to when she would be legal type of
Ugh.
thing. You know
But
what I
they
mean?
did that with Hermione too.
Yeah, but why the fuck would they put her on the cover of People
Yeah, but
magazine?
Hermione
why
actually
would People
turned
magazine
18.
allow
Not that
that?
that's
You'll
that
buy
much
it.
better, but
You'll talk about it.
I didn't buy it, but also there was a documentary about it where like people I don't even understand how people think this is okay. Like there was a JonBenet Ramsey documentary where they said, because she got like raped by someone as a baby molested.
Jesus Christ.
Well, and then
Whitney.
they said they were like her vagina was 3 times the size
It's Whitney.
of a normal.
Dude, no, you know what's also
But hold
crazy?
on, can I
no,
finish?
one
I
more
was like,
thing.
how does
Women
anyone
are
know
getting
the
into
average
college
size?
more than men, though. Have you heard about this?
This is why they need to go to college.
I mean, but it's like, but why would the mainstream media think it's okay to put
This is why
her-
women need to go to college. Women that go to college don't put their kids in beauty pageants. That's a fact.
Right.
So this is why you should promote more women to go to college. I feel like you don't promote that at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not using my platform responsibly. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the fuck you're doing, to be honest with you, but it's not that.
Me either.
It's not that.
Yeah. What's like what do you want me to be doing?
I want you to focus more on women's empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop
have you had a
licking
female
pussies
boss?
all over Venice and actually care about what's going on in women's lives and how we can push them to do things that they could never dream of. How can you help them do that?
What happened in Calgary?
Oh, it was cold.
Yeah.
It was really cold. And I think the progesterone that I've been on has been affecting me.
There's definitely something up.
What is it about it?
But you're definitely very pugnacious.
I think it's you. I think you bring it out of me. You make me
bring
a
out
little
the
bit
worst
more
in you?
excited. Why is that the worst?
No, it's sweet.
I'm more sensitive now.
No, I
because
think
of
that we we have like a very brother-sister dynamic, I think.
Yeah, you're so my brother.
Is that right?
You're so
Do
my
you
brother.
notice that you're different? Is your wife said you're different after going on these? Is your sex drive higher?
After going to Calgary?
No. After being on these peptides.
No, I'm not really on peptides. I was just joking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Why, do you feel like your sex size was higher? Shit, you went on peptides and became a lesbian.
No,
Went off
Good
birth
deal.
control.
That is
You did go on peptides and became
undeniable
a
correlation.
lesbian.
a lot of everyone in LA is transitioning. Gay, all the babies are gay. I mean, it could
How
be
do
the
you feel
fentanyl in the
about
water.
that?
Here's my thing. My thing is like it's
Whoa,
just
you did the Trump.
what?
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
I did the Trump what?
And the
yeah, he does
hands and
kinda do
everything.
that.
Whoa.
I mean-
Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
I just feel like I don't need to know like when kids, it's like this is Megan, now Madison, now 5 different names for the kids, like whatever. I think for me, like I grew up poor, so when you grow
Yeah.
up poor, you're whatever gender like your older sibling is.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to pick your gender.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I had an older brother. I wore a hockey jersey to school for 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's like when I see my friends buying like 9 different skirts and shorts and shit, I'm just like, all right, this just feels like,
Yeah.
you have. It's like a very elitist thing, I think, in LA.
Yeah.
And I think people are really gunning for their kid to be trans.
Why do you think they want that?
It's because I think it makes them seem more interesting.
It's status. Is trans kid the new adopted black kid?
Oh, that's interesting. Do you ever see the list of when you adopt kids, the different prices?
What is it?
If you want to pull it up online, I don't know.
Are
It's
black
like
kids worth 3/5 of a
My God.
compromise.
guys?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Well,
that a
actually, let's look up the
wasn't that a
prices.
compromise?
Listen,
That was the compromise.
It was the
It
compromise,
the
I believe.
it was. But this isn't
By the
a
way, what
compromise.
is 3/5? Like that is such a weird ratio. So yeah, no, this is it. This is it.
Let's see it.
Okay, here, I'll pull
Black
it up. I'll
kids,
pull it
like,
up. This is
cost-
from
We cost the most?
Or, I mean,
Epstein exchange rate.
We cost the most.
Here, let
I'm
me pull
all
it up.
for it.
Uh-oh, I
No,
lost
because then unless y'all get adopted.
which by the way, Epstein.
That's
was-
how they get you, bro. That's how they get you.
No, but a white kid is expensive.
It's a
Hey.
status symbol.
But
A
can I
white
tell
kid
you
is
with
expensive.
Epstein,
Like, oh, I got the most
what was the
expensive
thing?
Are we still doing the Epstein thing?
No, I'm just
Do
kidding.
people still care about that?
It's not that. It's just that I feel like I called this so long ago, but no one believes.
Called what?
That something was up with Epstein.
Whitney?
know why?
Whitney.
Do you know why?
Whitney.
What was fishy about Epstein that everybody missed? What was fishy?
I don't.
What was fishy, Whitney?
Why are you saying my name like I don't know it? You rascal. You're being a scalawag.
I am being
You're
a
being
little
a real scalawag. today.
Tell me the Epstein hot
It's
take.
just no billionaire dates a brunette.
Jeff Bezos. Married to her.
Well, that's not just a brunette.
And his new
Wait
girl.
for it. What's the guy who owns Arno?
How about this?
What billionaire
no,
dates a blonde?
No, what?
Let's actually
how
talk
about this?
about
What?
it.
Let's do it. What billionaire dates a brunette that looks like Janet?
Melania Brunette.
That looks like
Yeah, ran
Janet
through
from Three's
Marlo or
Company.
whatever.
Though.
Beyonce.
Beyonce. I don't know if blondes really get there with the billionaires because they don't age that well. I think you need to go brunette because brunette
Brunette
But
over
because
time.
there's more longevity. 100%.
Or
What's that beautiful
brunettes,
Italian actress?
Brunettes because they have less of an advantage earlier. I think they work harder to preserve themselves.
Do you think?
No one takes him to the beach, so they don't
That
get.
felt like you just complimented yourself. Yeah. It felt like you just really, really complimented
No, I mean,
yourself.
That
there's
was a
something
pat
to
on
be
the
said
back.
for like, I know that I have to work extra hard with that eye cream because I'm brunette. Like, I know I have to work harder in other areas. Like
you
blondes,
really
I know
think?
they don't go to the
like
gym.
your
They've got like
boobs.
pancake ass. They're like, you can be like a 7 face in a blonde and be like a 10.
Do you really think that?
I feel like to be a hot brunette, you have to be like Angelina Jolie. To be like a hot blonde, you can be like Julia Stiles.
I prefer brunettes.
Yeah.
Like, way prefer.
Okay.
Not even close.
Bachelor party. Cake comes out.
Yeah.
Stripper comes out of the cake. Brunette.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a like a.
No.
And we're talking white brunettes here. We're not talking Selma Hayek with Pinot and.
Oh, I guess I count them as well. But like, but yeah, I don't know.
There is a
and all
blonde
That's what I was
privilege
thinking.
that like.
The blonde thing lasts for like a 4-year period.
Yeah.
I think when you first become like an adult where you have some freedom, you're like, what's going on with these blonde things? Like they look like elves. It's a little cool and cute. I went through that phase when I was living in Spain. And I was like, Swedish girls, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But eventually you just kind of grow out of it and you see that like there's way more longevity with the
I also
brunettes.
think that but also blondes.
Look how well you've aged.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like you're joking.
The fact that you would even say that, you feel like I didn't watch your fucking special, I watched the special. You feel like when I compliment you, I'm not telling the truth. You're about to criticize me, trying to convince you that I like you and I care about you.
BetterHelp.com.
Something else is
promo
going on.
code Whitney. No,
Something's going on. Dude, you as a lesbian, way more sensitive.
Wait,
I don't like it.
No, this is.
I like you getting stuffed with dicks.
Yeah.
When you were getting stuffed
Yeah.
with dicks, you were way more fun. Now you're
Remember that
gaslighting
time-
me left
one
and right,
time-
grabbing my feet,
One time I called Andrew.
massaging it.
I was in
That's
my.
actually
I
all
was
right.
on my Raya.
That's the great thing about bands. You can just massage right there. You have a strong hand. Oh, because you played
Peptides, baby.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you finger women now.
You're going to the league, baby. You're WNBA material.
This is what dude, being a female comic is being in the WNBA.
Why?
No one wants to see us either.
What are you talking about?
If I got stuck in a Russian prison, none of you would. You'd be like, "That's good for her."
Yeah.
Like, she should. That builds character.
Oh my
Come
lord.
and run the
Great
prison.
special.
Yeah,
One of my
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
stories about Andrew ever is I had courtside seats to a Knicks game, and I was like, got him like last minute at like 1. I was like, want to come to the Knicks game? He's like, nah, I'm playing tonight in my league.
Ball is life, yo.
And I was like,
Ball
but,
is life.
I was like, yeah, but
he was
courts-
super serious about this league for like 9
This was
months.
like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
yeah.
like I was like, no, dude, courtside. He's like, nah, dude, they need me.
A memory
Like,
came up on my phone of like a clip from when we were playing league, and I spent like maybe a good 45 minutes while taking a shit just looking at my old highlights.
I mean,
Your boy was balling back in the day.
make
I
you a
couldn't
hoop
let my
mixtape.
boys down. I might have to
We
do
got to
it.
make you a hoop mixtape,
And I was
bro.
gonna sit
like-
next to you during the whole game. You trying to pretend like you know what's going on.
Why didn't you go
yelling
to his
shit.
game? Why didn't you just get floor seats to the...
That would have
to
been
the
fire.
YMCA.
That would have been fire. Basketball City. It's Basketball City, not the YMCA.
But it was like, I literally was like,
Yeah.
who would enjoy this the most? I got it. You know what, Andrew?
But I don't want to hear you like getting fake excited. 3 seconds, and like trying to impress everybody with your basketball knowledge when you don't know anything about basketball.
I would have been like, oh, have you seen the fucking photo of me in front
No.
row?
I'll stop you right there.
Is it on your OnlyFans? Is it like this? On your
Do you guys want to do this? I mean, why?
Why are you so
I'm
defensive?
not
Yo, you
being
really have
defensive.
become a woman now that you're a lesbian, yo.
I'm not
This
a
shit is
lesbian.
bothering me.
I'm not a
You
lesbian.
told me you came on here. You're so gaslighting. I feel gaslit. Listen, I can't do this.
Well, can we
I
play
can't do
this-
this.
let's
This is
play
why
this
men don't
so
have
back.
lesbian friends. This is why men don't have
I'm not a
lesbian friends.
lesbian.
You came on here, you say you're dating a girl. What the fuck that make you?
You know what? These shoes are the most. These
Deflecting.
are the number one bulldog shoes.
Deflecting right
No,
now.
I was just
Your
trying
shoelace.
to.
You don't even got shoelaces. You got Velcro.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is what it sounds like when you fucking scissor your lesbian.
That's how we said.
She stole those from Epstein's Island. That's what she got.
Come on, seriously, with this lesbian stuff.
No, it's literally. I just have not seen you in a while. Both parents dead. Grief does wild shit.
One of them was already dead, to be honest with you.
They've all. I mean,
Well, not
yeah.
always.
No, well, my dad, died a couple years ago.
Yeah, so I saw you between that.
Yeah. No, I think that when you lose a second parent,
I've heard this. It fucks you up.
No, well, also it's in like kind of a good way because also my mom was in a nursing home for the past like 12 years like hanging off the side of a bed. I had like lived in hospital. Like I wasn't able to like function as a person, like my bandwidth. And I was like such a workaholic because like that was like the drug, I guess, that I chose.
You want to distract yourself from this real thing.
Yeah, like it just also it's like the guilt and the shame of knowing she's like in a bed. I mean, I think a lot of people go through this. Like, you know, and nursing homes are like criminal enterprises. I mean, it's like I had to go in and like, you know, when you're like wiping your mom's ass, like giving her showers, shit, like that's like shit gets like kind of real.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really get to have a teen, I grew up in an alcoholic home, so I had to be a parent very early. So it's like I never really got to like have a childhood, never really got to have like teen years, was working. Like she put me in like modeling, which is you think about it, like what the fuck? I was doing like maternity catalogs when I was like 15, like all these like boxes. Like, do you ever go through old shit? Like I'm just like, what the I had disassociated like so much of it. And you go back and like
do you resent her for that? It feels like
you know, it's like it is what it is. I mean, it's just kind of like I don't think anyone I don't like the fact that child labor is illegal in this country, but like child modeling and child acting, like why the fuck are there child actors? Like I look around and I'm like, why does anyone need a kid to be on? Is anyone's like, what's going on with a 7-year-old?
You can't even sack groceries until you're 14, but you can be in a full.
But also think about it, like the people, but also the people that were, I mean that's cool. If it's like a drama about,
you don't want a bunch of dwarves playing all the kids.
But when people write shows for like teenagers, they're like 50.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's writing the dialogue for
I've
these
often
like
thought about
kids?
this with like an SVU show where like there's a girl that gets, you know, raped in the show, and it's like she's like a 12-year-old or a 9-year-old. And it's like some parent has to go, no, I think that my kid would be good to play this role.
Also, by the way, Jim Norton,
who was hilarious on the roast.
Great. Best joke.
He does both, because you know
because I did watch their roast.
What he said.
That really hit you sideways.
Because it bothered me that you would have that perception of me that I wouldn't watch your show.
No, it was just me being insecure and like facetious. I didn't think, like I wouldn't have cared either.
Really hurt me.
Way. I don't believe
Did
that
you
it
watch
did.
the whole thing?
Really fucking hurt me.
I don't believe that it did.
You still don't believe that I watched the show?
No, I believe you did, but I don't believe it hurt you, but I did.
No, it
hit
did.
you
It does
sideways.
hurt me.
I'm sorry that
you
I
would
did
have such
that.
a negative perception of me. Why
don't
can't
have
we
a
think the
negative
best of one
I just
another?
think that
I thought the best of you. I thought you were straight.
No,
You know, turns out. You know?
Dude, you cannot trust these hoes. Like, what are you talking about?
What did they do? What do they do?
No, wait, no. For me, I think it's just like my mom died. Like the people that showed up in the
What do you think about pussy taste?
It's not sexual yet, like that.
Wait, was it the girl you brought over? Is that? Was it?
No.
Was it the aging?
No.
This is your first female friend. You're not a lesbian.
I think you're right.
You just made a female
Can
friend.
I tell you something? When my mom was alive, because she was such a malignant narcissist and such a like mercurial, like, you know, kind of mess. Like I
Great
really
vocabulary. Sorry, real quick.
sorry.
I had to tell you. That was great.
But I really had a hard time with female friendships, and then you know it's really hard being a female comic. I don't believe that. But like in comedy, there's so much scarcity complex. Like a lot of female comics can kind of be like nasty, you know. So I kind of was like, now you're right. This might just be my only female friend I've ever had, and I feel like I have to make out with her.
I think you're gay.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
I know.
Hold on, you guys make out? Mm-hmm. And are you think you're a good kisser?
I think I'm a really good kisser, but I
Does
think
she think you're a good kisser?
I mean, I think.
Do you guys moan when you kiss, or you're
No,
like, do that?
But by the way, can I tell you?
Don't touch me. Do you do that deep? Do you do that deep like breathing thing?
Dude,
Like,
this
where
is
you're
my
like,
shit. Well, I've had like a sinus thing lately, so I'm like, but I like to
do that Trump thing when you breathe, like, bring it in.
I gotta be honest with you. I have never been like
Yeah.
back in the day. People always be like, "Oh, I never want to hook up with you. You're a comic. Like, you'll probably make fun of me." And I'm like, I have never made jokes during sex. Like, I would never like. But now I just think it's like. I really like to keep my eyes open and wait to see if the other person will open their eyes. Like that's my favorite shit when you're like making out, and, like, and then the other person will open and then close, and you're like, what was that? Like I love calling out those weird ass.
So you guys are making out like in a bed? Horizontal ever? Have you been horizontal with a woman?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in college, I had
No.
really
Now
weird
this
threesome.
girl that you're dating.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like it's.
What does she look like? Do I know her name?
Yeah, maybe.
I know her.
No, yeah.
Do I know her?
I'll show you after. Yeah.
Do I know her?
No, you don't know her.
Have I seen her before?
I thought this would like land better with you. I thought you would think it's like funny. I feel like it's.
No, he's very curious.
But
If
you know
you
what?
haven't.
Why
Here's what
can't
will
I be
say.
serious
Here's why
about something?
Here's why it cannot be
Humor
gay.
comes
But
from being
listen,
serious.
All female
you have an
comedians.
open wound on your finger, and you are actively just rubbing it on my hand.
It's not. I have a Band-Aid on.
No, you just miss pointy hard things.
You have such soft hands. By the way, I've never gotten one hard. My personality handles
Wait,
it.
you've never had a hard penis?
No, yes, I have. I think I could never stop dating.
Has a
that.
guy ever gotten soft with you?
Yeah, the way if that happens, if you could just cry, it'll.
And did that
you
really
can get
hurt
it back.
you? Did that really hurt you?
No. I think the times that's happened.
You started crying. Did he get hard again?
Usually that works. It always works because I've come out in lingerie before. Have you ever had a girl come out in lingerie?
Not you, because I feel like you're walking like Kramer. But this penis is making me thirsty.
So they call me Vaginefeld. Literally come in fucking Theo Vaughn's merch. Like, what? Like, what is happening?
No, so you come in lingerie.
But when you come in lingerie, and like that, when you like try really hard, but the guy just wants to like get to it, and you're like, I want you to appreciate it. You know, just when there's like that set of
What's
expectations.
the right thing to do when a girl comes in lingerie? That's a great thing that we should get to.
It depends. You first need to ascertain the quality of the lingerie. If it's just some Chinese trash, it's a different conversation. But first, like, just feel it out and just see if it's something that like feels expensive. Just appreciate it for a minute, and also leave it on.
How would you like us to appreciate
What is it? What is it in Jay-Z and Drunken Love? Put the panties to the side, no time to take drawers off. Like, leave it on sometimes. The idea is leave it on and fuck her with them on.
Oh, you leave it on. Oh, got you. And then you pull it to the side.
Yeah.
And then you just let that
And there's a lot of, yeah. Like, leave it on. If she's wearing like a nice bra and you've seen her tits already, leave the bra on.
Oh,
Yes.
got you.
Because also it's like our tits, like, you know, it's like, well, mine are like fucking crocodile eyes come out of a pond at this point. But mine stay up, but most like, because my tits don't move, you know.
Crikey! We got a big one. Yes,
They're fucking
bring the
like-
boat up real slow, you know. This one's jumpy. Grab the tail.
But like, if the tits are real, when you lay down, they sort of disappear.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I mean?
fall in,
No one
yeah.
talk.
But yours don't do that at all,
Mine
you're saying.
don't. Mine are fucking at the ready. It's fucking
Have
always.
you had another boob job recently?
No, I'm wearing a wild bra. No, I've had. Like
being
I talked about
critical.
it. I talked about it. You.
Critical.
Talked about it my 4th special. I think I did one, and then I had to do a reconstructive one, and then this.
Wait, why?
Because
You did reconstruct.
didn't watch my 4th special.
Wow.
There are.
I mean, it was the 4th. You know what I mean? To be fair, the 4th. First, second, third, maybe, but 4th, bro, you've done enough.
It is weird how like a 4th special really falls through the cracks. You know what I mean?
It's enough, yo.
It is kind of like feeling the 4th and 5th should have been one.
Yeah. Same with boob jobs, actually.
No, but I always just feel like embarrassed if I'm like mentioning something I've already said, like as if anyone like knows the difference. But no, you have to replace them. I think every 10 years or
That's
something.
what I heard.
I'm due for a tune-up in a bit, but these are the new ones. They're called the gummy bear ones.
Yeah.
They're like half silicone, half like
Sugar?
unicorn comb.
That's what they're made of, actually.
So these are like good ones. Like I'm into it. But
Reconstruction.
they're wide instead of big.
Wait a minute. You prefer them?
Well, because I had scoliosis and I had all this crazy shit, and I had really bad eating disorders when I was younger because of like the modeling and stuff. Like, I mean, I was literally when I was doing
How
like
tall are you
fit modeling.
supposed to be? Good thing you had those disorders, because
yeah.
imagine you'd be like 6'4" or something like
Can
that.
you? Would you ever date a woman taller than you? Anyone?
I'm 6'2".
I know. Would you ever?
No.
My height?
Yeah.
Taco, my
Yeah,
height.
I think I could just because my height is like, you know,
Yeah,
what do you
for
really
you
think?
guys.
That's a male fantasy. That's like a breeder. That's what guys would
Oh,
call.
interesting.
Can you imagine my son being 5'9"? That'd be great.
But also, like, the last
Exactly,
couple of
towering.
the last couple of guys I dated were shorter than me, and I was like very into it. Like very into it. And I think that when I was like more insecure or like whatever, like, oh, I can't date a guy that's shorter than me. But now it's like, I don't know.
You're into short kings.
Short kings.
Do you
I'll
find
tell
that they're like more motivated?
Well, it's also the same thing with baldness. Like, you know, like there's studies that came out that
Coming up with all these facts.
No, but this is like for realsies that men that are bald, women find more attractive than men that aren't. Because it's like, what?
Because they have successful podcasts that can make your career? Is that why? Interesting how that study came out recently.
Duck, go forth with those stats.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, I don't know, it's just, I think having death, like, it's hard to, you know, unless you're the Menendez brothers and you're just gonna handle it on your own, like, having 2 parents die, like, I highly recommend it.
Oh, you felt what?
Shit gets, like, wild, like, because I didn't even realize.
Hey, push back against that.
I'm just saying, I had no choice, but I didn't even realize how many of my decisions I was making based on, is my dad gonna hear that? If I say this on TV, is my mom gonna hear that? Like, I couldn't even say my mom was an alcoholic, my mom didn't love me. Like, I couldn't say it until she died, and I feel like, I think about, like, censorship and comedy, And I was self-censoring the most with my parents because I didn't want to hurt
okay
them.
to care about people and
You know
not
what I
want
mean?
to hurt them, though.
Yeah,
That's
I know, but
okay.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't even realize how, like, bound I was by it. And now I have this, like, kind of, like, freedom.
And then you came out and then killed your mom. Exactly. Yeah, you told her you were gay.
I mean, I'm not gay. I'm a trans man.
Wait a minute. Are you?
No, I'm just, I'm just thinking like someone said to me once, this is my lawyer, back in the day, as soon as I got a TV show syndicated, he was like, now what are you gonna do? Like the sort of tier of men you can date just got smaller. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, now that you're successful and men think you have money, like you have to be with someone that has so much money to restore the power dynamic. And I was like, wait, are you telling me that now that I finally have my own money, I have to be like a gold digger? Like that's so fucked. Like now that I have my own money, I have to date rich. The whole point of making money is you could, like it opens up this whole new pool of like broke guys that I couldn't date when I was broke. You know what I mean? Like
It still is weird though. I have a who works hard. She makes a lot of money. Miles thinks she's beautiful. Miles is way too poor for her. She would never date him.
but it's her thing. She doesn't want to date someone.
I know, right?
But
Seems like you're kind of calling us out. We could easily change that.
Way too poor is like very different.
No. She makes like a crazy amount of money.
But it's also
crazy.
But to me, it's like
What does she do?
criminal. It has to be criminal.
She works 3 full-time jobs and none of them know. So I don't even know if we should
What
put
the
this in.
fuck?
Oh, she's got ChatGPT.
She works from home, 3 management jobs, full-time, over the phone, managing all of it at once. She's a fucking
that's
hoss.
fire.
She's a hoss, dude.
Respect.
But why does she want to just make a ton of money? Is she because like, or does she enjoy working?
We're probably gonna have to edit this out again because they would fire her if she found out. So she's probably filling some kind of void of not having a man.
Got it.
But as she gets more successful and richer, I mean, she's like rich
Dude,
now.
let me ask you though, like
and men are very
workaholism.
threatened by it.
Workaholism is an addiction that is like kind of a tricky one. Like in our community, there's so many people we see with like drug addictions and alcohol addictions, but like workaholism, like that's one that I've like really found myself being like, oh, like I don't need to be working right now. Like why am I saying yes to this? Why am I doing this?
So socially acceptable. You work a lot. People are
It's
like, wow,
celebrated.
I mean,
Yeah.
not so much as like me. I think people are shitty to me about it. They're like, you're so ambitious. Why do you work so much?
For
Like,
women, I don't think it's
I
celebrated
get
as
shamed
much.
more for it,
Yeah.
which I think is good because it's made me like look in the mirror
Do
and
you
go,
think
"What?"
they're shaming you for working too much, or they're shaming you for not processing certain emotions and covering that up with work?
Maybe, but it's like, how do you know what emotions I'm?
Like if you just went on vacation
yeah,
instead of work,
right.
I think that they would say the same thing.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yo, you're just traveling around the world doing all this other stuff when
Yeah.
you had your parents pass and you're not really acknowledging what happened and how it affected you.
Yeah, but it's like I've been mourning my parents since they had strokes. Like, it's like been a slow process. Like some people have it suddenly. I actually feel like I got really lucky because it's like I had 12 years to like prepare because it was like Groundhog Day. It was like every day was today's the day she's gonna die. Today's the day. So it was just this constant thing. And by the time she died, I mean, a couple years ago, she looked over at me and she was like, "Please kill me,"
Right.
And I'm like,
sometimes people say it's a relief when they have
it was
their folks
such a
in those
relief.
situations.
Yeah, it's also like seeing your, this person you had on a pedestal or someone that like, you have to have some modicum of a hierarchy of just like the biological, just the pecking order of this is the queen and I'm, the changing of the guard. Like to be in that holding pattern of like, am I an adult yet? Am I not? Am I my mother's mother? Am I my mother's daughter? Like trying to seek validation from someone that you have to wipe their ass. It's just like, it just gets really confusing.
Was she seeing your stuff though? Like, was she aware of what you were doing career-wise?
She, bless her heart, my mom, like, dabbled in the narcissism and she couldn't, like, at my first special, she answered her phone in the audience and, like, just took the call.
Nice.
You know what I mean? She just couldn't, every time I saw her, it was like these backhanded compliments. He's like, all you want is something,
Where do you think that comes from?
Her.
Yeah, why do you think she's
I think that she did not want kids. I don't think she had maternal instincts. I think if I'm gonna guess, I think she had my sister to try to keep my dad. And then my dad fell in love with my sister,
Run it
his
back.
daughter. My sister, stole my dad's heart. My mom couldn't keep dad's heart. And then I was a mistake. So I was conceived 2 months after my sister was born. And so I was an accident. So it's like when you really go back and do the like, oh, no one wanted me. And then I came out and I was brunette.
Double whammy.
Also just
Yeah.
found out I'm half Jewish.
Hey,
Whoa. Wait, how'd you just
God,
find that out?
Just found out because my mom died and I got because I knew that my dad's mom was Jewish and my mom's dad. I just found out because when they died, all the family secrets come up, dude.
Oh, wow.
There's like wild shit. Yeah.
You're half Jewish, but actually zero Jewish.
Because you need to come from Jewish vagina to be actually Jewish.
Well, my dad's
Mom's
mom.
dad.
I'm sorry, but
Dad's mom.
I'm sorry, dad's mom. Oh, so I'm no Jewish.
No Jewish.
Damn.
But come on.
No, we'll allow
Good
it.
Doesn't
math.
count.
0?
Doesn't count.
Great
I was in
math,
there.
dude.
Zero.
Great math.
Yeah. Your math has gotten worse now that you're full on fucking lesy.
And then, it just changes you. I don't know. It's like
My friend had, I'll see if we can keep his name. Gunal Aurora, his dad was like not a great guy. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, it took my dad's death for me to deal with his life. Like all this shit that they put on you. So even if you've kind of been dealing with her death, I wonder if it still hits you hard because once she's gone, you can keep yourself occupied and not think about all the shitty things she did to you when you're wiping her ass and you're seeing her in this state. When she's gone, now you got to deal with everything she did to you. Because the first time you came on, I think she was alive. You didn't talk about like forcing you into modeling and all. I think you might be dealing with all this now.
because it's like I never wanted, I don't think she had a capacity for guilt. Like her denial was so intense. But it's like, I mean, there was sexual abuse. There was like in alcoholic homes when there's like,
Sexual abuse
men
from her?
coming in and out. No, not from her, but like from boyfriends, from like
Wow.
divorced homes where people
Probably,
are
yeah.
working.
So
and
she was dating a guy, and that guy would like hit on you?
that was a whole other thing. Like, look, we're the first
It's
generation.
kind of flirting.
My mom, I'm gonna say it like
Mark,
this
let's
is
not joke around about this,
this
dude.
is
Like very fucking insensitive, dude. Like just joking around. She's saying she got molested.
That's
you think
fucking
it's some,
crazy.
You said they're
That's
hitting on
actually
her.
You're still laughing. You're like
know.
face
You said
is
they're
all
hitting
red
on her.
about it.
I just don't
Can
think
I
they're
tell you
hitting on
something?
her.
Jesus
the
Christ,
problem,
just say
dude.
sorry, bro.
This is
Just say
the
I just don't
sorry,
think it's
dude.
flirting, you know what I'm
God will
saying?
forgive you.
This
but
is the
like,
problem with
Jesus
men. This
Christ.
is the problem with men. They can't just say
Dude,
sorry.
yeah.
Nah, dude, this is it's a
guy's a
quality
fucking
that
animal,
now
dude.
we can laugh
Poor
at.
girl is like
Poor.
literally
I am so
pouring out her
rich. I have
heart.
so
Grieving.
much money.
On the pod, grieving.
oh, not flirting. Whatever he fucking said.
No.
What an asshole. What a
This is
fucking
fucking
asshole right
I-
here.
Hardcore
Horrifying.
feminist, dude. It's a quality
So
when we
you're
can
saying
also
that
laugh at women being molested.
boyfriends.
But all kind of people, dude. It's
Like
like
fucking calm down, dude. Like look
you
at
stop
you like
laughing?
being all sinister.
Alex,
wanting
Alex,
to
what
do
are you doing
something
in
like
the
that.
corner, dude?
Listen.
But doesn't it feel like when boys are molested, it's hilarious? Like Catholic
Yes.
church shit is funny, and then girls are molested, and everyone's all like awkward. So this
Yes.
is he's like.
Okay, so you're saying that her boyfriends.
No, not that specifically. There were situations like that, but we also had babysitters. Like we were the first generation of like moms that worked, and she would go out. And
You had male babysitters.
She had, dude. It was like so and so's, son down the street. Is he available for $10? We had female babysitters. We had a female babysitter that molested us. I didn't know that till
My
recently.
dad got molested by a babysitter. Female.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back
So
in the
that
day.
was a while ago.
Yeah, but no, he was about it. He like shared the story with me. Like
That's intense.
That's
she
the
was
point,
like, they would play a game where
Back
she
in
would.
the day where women couldn't even vote, but they were molesting. Like
Oh no, he's not that old.
I just mean like that was when was it? The 50s?
When was the exact day? I'm not
I
sure.
just mean like was it the 50s when he was a kid? When was he?
Yeah, it was definitely the 50s, and he would tell me she would come over and they would play a game where she would play with his dick, and then like she was like, all right, it's time for you to play with mine, and he was like, I can't wait to play with her dick. He didn't know. Like, he didn't know girls have pussies and shit. So he was like, it's my time to play with that shit. And he was like trying to get in there, and she was like, oh, okay, actually we can't do this, blah, blah, and then kind of stopped it. So he was trying to get his get back. I think that was the most fucked up part.
You can
because he
laugh
didn't
at
get
this
his
one,
get
Mark.
back. Yeah.
Mark, you can laugh at this one.
Yeah, that
He
one
laughed.
seems kind of funny. I
He
actually
laughed.
enjoyed that
Well,
one.
that's the
Yeah.
thing.
That
Like,
was
but
good.
when women are
Social
molested or girls are molested, it's like a super bummer. So it's like I never
Well,
talked about it.
It is a bit of a
for
bummer.
both. It is a bummer
It's
for
fine.
both.
I mean, I think that it happens to most people in some iteration. I think that like when you grow up in
No, it
alcohol,
doesn't. Don't normalize it.
maybe I just
It
think that there's
doesn't.
so much
It
like
doesn't.
There
Hey,
was
Whitney, it doesn't.
I think a lot of
And I know that normalizing it might make you feel better.
no, it doesn't. It
But
makes me
what
feel.
happened to you
I want to
is
be
not okay.
I want to
Despite
be the
Mark's
only person that was
fucking
molested. What are
jokes
you
about
talking
it.
about?
You want to be the only person?
Do you think I want other people to have the
That's a
same?
that's a little narcissistic,
No,
I
I'm
think.
joking.
That's
I'm just
kinda-
like, but no, trust me, I would love to be the only person that
That's that scarcity
adults
thing you were
thought was
talking
cute
about.
as a child. But
Actually, if
I
you were
think
the
more
only
we talk
person
about it, I think
molested,
that all the Me Too
You maybe
stuff,
could pay the price for all humans. It's like a Jesus thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
You took the molestation, so
I had
no one
sex
else
with a
has to
virgin
be
recently.
molested. What?
Y'all are talking about
Strap on?
Y'all are talking about incels.
And you
what
took her
to
jacket.
do.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like he. Y'all are talking about incels like school shooters. What are you doing about it? I'm
minute.
out there fucking them.
You had sex with a male virgin. How old were they?
I'm not telling you.
You had sex with an underage man.
No, he was.
You had sex with an underage
no,
man.
very old, much older virgin.
How old?
On the road.
How old?
Over 25.
You believed him?
Yes, actually.
You fucking idiot.
By the way,
There is no way.
Nobody
Swear
stayed
to
They've been
God.
for
playing
that
that
long.
for fucking years. You know, oh yeah, I never had sex before. And
Yeah,
then
what
you
kind of
come
dork
over,
doesn't have
Bear,
sex till
stop.
after 25? Fucking losers.
dude, you're not. You
So you
don't.
out here
Fucking
dicking
losers.
down fans, bro? That's
This
crazy.
wasn't the first time I've ever
Paula
No,
Poundstone.
it's the first time. How dare you, dude? How dare you? Because that's the other thing. I'm looking down the barrel of the female comedians that, like, dude, this doesn't end well. Who does this end well for? Female comedian.
Joan of Arc or whatever. What's it? Joan
Rivers, that
yeah.
ended well for her.
It did not.
Yeah, she
Phenomenal.
was killing it.
I
think
know,
she has
but,
so much
like,
respect.
That's true, but I think
People
that-
love her.
But she hated towards the end that she was like doing fashion police stuff and
So
was
then
like
stop
doing
doing it. I don't like that
celebrity-
shit where, like-
celebrity gossip shit. I don't like to get into
Don't
that.
complain about the shit you choose to do.
Or you become gay, or you become an activist. I know, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm.
You went
two- you're two
activist
for three.
first.
That's pretty
Dude,
good.
remember?
When was I an activist?
Remember when you would call me and be like, "Dude, they totally think I give a fuck about animals," and we would have these calls. Do you remember that? Like, oh, giraffes. Oh, what a stupid fucking animal. I don't get it. You would call me and shit on animals all the time, and then you'd go out and make your little videos like, "I gotta save a zoo. A zoo's gonna burn in California," right? And you would call me just laughing and mocking these people. Remember that?
No, I don't.
This is when you need your empty gun.
But you do care about animals. You do care about it. You dated a veterinarian.
Or what is going on?
You dated
at
a veterinarian.
home?
Stop
What
doing
is
it. You're
going-
doing it again.
But there's
Every
some-
time you're in a corner,
You're.
you project.
I'm not- I
Can we
just-
talk about you and the animals?
Sure, yes.
You were in love with a veterinarian.
I dated a veterinarian during the pandemic.
You
yes,
didn't
sir.
love him.
I did. What's love? I mean, what are we
Maybe
doing?
don't hurt me.
That's
Strong.
crazy.
What are we doing?
That's
What are we
crazy.
doing?
You're
That's a
evil.
hard
yo.
no.
Hold on, my thing with
That's crazy.
No, it's not. My thing with love is that word was used a lot to control me as a
Dude,
kid.
the whiter your fingers get, the bigger the lie is. The second that you're out here like this,
Why would I
that
lie?
was
Like-
used as a controlling mechanism. You could love the
How many people
veterinarian.
have you said you loved before?
Thousands, I think.
When, like, what's your definition of love? Like, when you know you're in love with someone?
That's a good
It's like
question.
Jerry Maguire, you know? When
That's
you
a
know.
good question. But I'll tell you this.
Do you love me?
I love you.
Yeah, but that's not in love.
No, but in love, I'll tell you that you feel, at least for me, I felt it in different ways. And with my wife, I felt it in a
My
way.
way.
That was very boring.
I like it.
No, but I felt it in a way I never felt with anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how did that manifest? Because I remember a guy friend of mine said to me once something like very simple. where-
Second date.
Oh, wow.
Second date, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fall in love with this woman. Second date.
How did you know? Like, was it just
I want
an
to-
energy? Wasn't conscious?
I want to listen to everything she had to say, and I want to share everything that I had with her. And I think that was it. It wasn't even like on some, like,
I wanted to listen to her.
Well, by the way, this is like a guy friend of mine who's like, you know, gets it
It's a
in.
beautiful story. I almost started crying. And then you were like, I just wanted to listen to
Yeah, I
it.
know. I got serious. This shit felt like the Bert Kreischer roast for a second. Everyone's crying.
For the first time in my life,
On the
I found a
Berkshire
woman
Road,
interesting.
I got emotional.
clear here that not everybody has fallen in love yet, but it's okay.
Also during the
They'll
Bert
find
Kreischer,
love eventually.
my mom was in 7-day hospice. She was on her 7th day of fucking
Yeah.
home hospice. This bitch,
Are you
dude.
comparing your dying mom to my wife right now?
No, I'm just saying that the crying and the roast, this seems to be a sticking point for everybody.
Yeah.
Which is like my mom was in 7 days of hospice, so I'm at fucking Kaiser Permanente, which fuck that place, by the way. I have umbrella insurance, I'm protected.
Yeah.
So I went to Kaiser Permanente once,
Yeah.
and look how bored he gets when it's like not just
That was
Just
It's not the
bored
second date. That's what happens.
out
That's
of
how you
his
know you're
mind.
in love with you, Whitney.
What
You
do you-
never
what do
question
you
this
wanna
man's
do?
I'm
emotions.
not in love with her. I love her.
I know.
Yeah.
I
this
love
is,
her.
we
I do.
like, you know.
I care about you and I care about your well-being and I want everything to work out for you and I
gotta
would
care
help
about your
you if you
stories.
ever need anything. I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.
And you don't even trust it because so many people have fucked you over in life or something like that. So you're
No,
like,
I do trust it. That's not true at all. I'm very close to me. What it
giving me like Irish boxer pose. No, I care about you deeply and I want everything to work out. So for me, that is love. But being in love
Yeah.
with somebody has
Well, yeah, but-
happened a few times in my life.
Yeah.
And the last time was the most profound version of it.
But do
Pretty
you
awesome.
feel like that the amount of time, like you knew on the second date, do you think that you can still love someone the way you love Emma, but not know that soon? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think it?
Give me a hypothetical.
Like, for love to happen, does it have to be that soon? Is my question.
No, I don't
Because
think
sometimes
so.
I'll be with someone for like 6 or 7 months, and I'm like, do I just give it more time?
I love my wife way more now than I did on our second
That's
date.
so
Yeah.
cool.
But there was something that happened. There was something that happened on the second date where I was like, whoa, this is different than anything I've ever experienced.
Has there ever been a fight where you're like, or a thing you're like, I don't know?
No. There's been difficulties,
Yeah.
of course, but there's never been a thing where like, I don't love this person anymore.
Right.
I stopped loving them.
Was there something that you did differently with her where it's like with other people, like in a fight or whatever, for lack of a better word, you'd be like, oh, that's bullshit. But with her, you just like acted differently?
Not necessarily, but I also think it's not just, I don't know, I think that I don't feel in fights that it's over ever.
Right. It's
So
about...
she makes me feel there's something that she does not in the fight, outside of the fight. And I hope that there's something I do outside of the fight that makes us feel like, hey, this thing sucks. We need to fucking work this out. I'm being a little immature motherfucker. She's being an immature motherfucker.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it's kind of over.
I feel
which
like
is a nice
for
feeling.
me, I think that's kind of love when you feel like you're fighting for something instead of fighting with someone and you're like on the same team, even though, because to me, like in fights, I'll instantly be like, the biggest leverage is leaving.
Yeah, but that
So it's like you go to that, but that's like, you got to stay in the
That's
ring.
fear.
But
though,
that doesn't
that's
come
fear.
from a lack of love. That comes from insecurity and emotional immaturity.
Yeah.
When I used to get with like, I love my wife so much, but when I was less mature emotionally, there would be fights where I'd be like, I don't know if this is worth it. And now, and I think you'll know when you're in love, because when you're in love, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Let's just do this. We're gonna deal with this. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But this,
Well, I
we just
did-
Don't
gotta get
define
through
the love by the fights.
it. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue.
Well, I guess for me, it's like I always thought like love. It's not about how, what it's like when things are going well. It's about when things are hard. You know. So
think
I've
about
always
when
thought,
it's going well. Like
Yeah.
how much fun is it when it's going well? That's what
Yeah.
I think keeps you together. It's like,
I guess I just haven't had a fun life yet. Like I also was, people are like, you have intimacy issues, you don't want to be with someone. It's like, I didn't want to be with someone when I had a mom hanging off of a thing. Like I was engaged to a guy, man off Raya, awesome dude. And when we started planning the wedding, I just couldn't like, you know, picture my mom in a wheelchair and like who was gonna walk me down the aisle. Like I just couldn't,
Yeah.
you know, so now that she's dead, I feel like I can.
I understand what you mean now when you say either you feel free.
It's just like there's a point where you realize like, am I my mother's daughter? Am I my own person? And I guess I never got to be my own person just
Yeah.
because I was in the shadow of her illness. And
I think you suffer from being too smart sometimes, where I think that you can like intellectualize every aspect of your behavior and find a justification for it somewhere on the
I think that's
internet.
what we do as stand-ups, but when you turn on yourself, like we're these, you know, analysts, like
You almost need to be able to
overthinkers.
like shut your brain off and just be, you know, to quote Liver King, primal for a second.
I'm trying, dude. I
know it's hard, right?
Dude, I'm doing 2 hobbies now. I'm taking on 2 hobbies that I'm not allowed to turn into
You're
businesses.
an awesome example because like you're trying so hard to just be a human.
It's retarded.
And like you're like, I'm gonna have a hobby.
No, it's
I'm gonna have
by the way,
another one.
because I also became a comic. Like I knew I was like growing up, like all
But
the
being
jumps,
a comic is your most authentic state. I genuinely mean that.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I think being a person is way harder for
When you
you.
grew up in an
than
alcoholic
just
home,
being-
that's what you are. You're a comic. You're making people
performer.
laugh.
Yeah.
You're like doing literally getting
Yeah.
people drinks.
This is you. This is you being in this kind of manic state, making things funny, like roasting, having great ideas,
always
putting
have
them
to be
together.
10 steps ahead. Always
sure.
have to have 9 backup plans for jokes.
But what
and
makes
things
you
to
so
talk
good
about.
at this is what makes life so difficult.
And also growing up with in an alcoholic home, like if you're they're scatterbrained, so me being all over the place like is linear to them.
Same. I grew up in an alcoholic house, and there's a lot of peacemaking and just making sure everybody's.
Oh yeah, like and then
let's just not
you're
cause
the mediator.
conflict.
You have to shape shift. You have to be a chameleon, like narcissist. You have to like you know, and then also defining yourself through your productivity and usefulness to others, and like
Yeah.
entertaining people, and then as you get older, it's just like annoying. Like you're just the annoying people pleaser who like won't turn off, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I think it's weird because I got on the TV. I remember as a kid going like, I have to get in the box. Like I saw Happy Families in the box, and I was
Did
like,
your family value what was in the box?
well, yeah. Well, my dad, like, they would watch TV,
Yeah.
and I
That's what
watched.
usually comes from
But
that.
I would commercials is what I wanted though. I didn't even want to be in movies. I wanted to be in commercials. 'Cause
Wow, that's
that's
interesting.
that's where the Happy Families were. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta get there, dude. That's where the fucking food is on the dinner table. Like,
Everybody's
Dude, the
happy.
fridge is like, how do I get in there? I would literally drive by like on whatever family trips, and there would be like an exit for a McDonald's, and I would be like, let's get off at McDonald's. All I would see is like, why is that kid eating the fries? Like I could do that.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that there's a perfect example of you intellectualizing a situation, but that's not the real reason. I think that your dad watched that TV
Yep.
And that was the most important thing in
How
his
do
life.
I get his attention?
And I need
100.
to get in there to get his attention, his validation. And that is often what children do. The only reason I started boxing or enjoy boxing or I did a boxing match is because I knew how much my dad loved boxing.
Yeah.
My dad gave me all the validation. And even with all the validation from my dad, maybe this would impress him even more. And he was so impressed and it felt so good. So it's like we subconsciously are drawn to the things that our parents really care about. Even if we resent our parents, we still want their validation.
Because it's like a reptilian brain.
See how smart you are? You're like, you created this perfect, beautiful story of like, there's a family eating McDonald's and I want that. No, you don't.
No.
You would have been a commercial actress if you did.
Dude,
but you created great shows.
I could not book a commercial to save my life. I went in, they always said I sounded sarcastic. I'd be like,
sarcastic.
try Tide with bleach. It's the best for your Tide.
McDonald's, it's super good.
Yeah, like literally.
I don't believe that girl.
I know, they always said I was too sarcastic.
Your dad
but-
would change the channel. You're like, come on. I
but
finally got in
it's-
it.
It's also like the jury's still out if I'm the progressive lady or not, so maybe I am in commercials.
Progressive lady.
But it's wild though, because I was like, that's where the love is.
You're lesbian and trans now. You are the progressive lady.
I'm very progressive.
Yeah. Now you're on birth control. You are flowing. You are flowing. That's perfect.
It's so hard. It flows so hard. We were out there and I was like, should I take a Prozac before I go in? I was also on Prozac and I just like went off it like willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be on any of this pharma shit. I've also been like under the influence of like pharma, birth control,
Hold
Prozac.
on. So, how do you get a person like you's usually smarter than most of the people around you, right?
I mean,
let's just assume, right? It's hard to take advice from people around you if you're like, I don't know if these people are smarter than me. Probably most of the people around you, you're more successful than. So like, why would I take advice from any of these motherfuckers? But what happens if those people have good advice that would help you reflect on your life and maybe make your life easier?
Yeah.
Would you push them away or would you be willing to digest it?
I think it depends. I think when someone's giving you advice, you can usually tell if they're like
authentic?
Yeah, if they really are trying to solve the problem or like show off or project. It seems like sometimes the people with their lives that are in most disarray are the ones that want to give the most advice, you know?
Kind of annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, just sort of like, or someone that's trying to control you or they want you to like owe them in some way. You know, I think we're in this sort of like as a species, like everyone's an expert in everything now. And I read this book and I watched this TED Talk and you're like, can you just tell me what you think I should do? Like, I don't need you to quote 9 fake experts. Yeah.
You know what's interesting is this is almost like the downside of getting successful young is you did so much work, you couldn't really work on you and also the stuff with your mom. The one upside of, and I'm not saying I'm well-adjusted, one upside of me getting successful so much later or somewhat successful so much later is I had a lot of time with no work so I could just work on me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm well-adjusted now, but I'm way better off than I would have been.
But also I spent so much time
It's like child stars, why it's so difficult for them.
And like shape-shifting and stuff, like where someone's like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Well,
I
like,
don't know
caught up
what I
in
like.
like a
I don't-
reward matrix.
I have to figure that out. Say it again?
Yeah.
The Hollywood reward matrix is really distorting. So it's like...
Also, as soon as my mom died, I was able to process a lot of the fucked up Hollywood shit because I think I had to be in so denial with the Stockholm Syndrome with Hollywood because it was like the key to getting her love and my dad's love that I was like, I couldn't see the dark side of
Also,
Hollywood.
maybe it was familiar because it's very similar to
100%.
an abusive
I
household.
mean, it's weird. I have this obsession with Shirley Temple because it's like when people are like, is Hollywood creepy? I'm like, you guys, this is a business built on the back of a 4-year-old toddler named Shirley Temple who was wearing little mini skirts. And she was 4 when she was in her first movie where she's like at war with soldiers like on their laps, like not a mom in sight. There's no nanny in the story. It's just, there's just a baby with dimples like dancing for soldiers. So if she was 4 in the movie, that means she was cast at like 2?
Yeah.
Or 3, and then if she was cast at 2 or 3, if she got the job, that means there were like 100 other babies at audition that people were like, not cute enough, not like, and then there was a costume designer. Like I watched the movie and I'm just like, someone sewed this little gingham plaid diaper cover, like the way that the skirts perfectly like come up. And if there's a video called Good Ship Lollipop, and it's her doing a dance for these like men.
I'll never
dude,
watch that ever.
It's
You just ruined Shirley Temple for me.
dude, it is.
What we
Well,
grew up
dude,
watching.
dude,
Never watched a
whoever-
single thing of hers, thank God.
Dude, her blackface, there's a movie where she's in blackface. It is Trudeau level precision. It's wild. Like, we owe this bitch an apology. And like, I just think about her because I'm like, this is something that we're like Shirley Temple. We order a Shirley Temple. And we're like, oh, this is this child that was just kind of a stripper. There's videos called Baby Burlesque. and it's her in diapers and another baby just making out and dancing. It's like, it's fucking wild.
Like, Brooke Shields was doing like nude
Dude,
shoots
Lagoon,
at like 14.
Lagoon, dude, is wild.
Yeah.
She like has her first blood, and she's 14, and they're fucking on a rock. Like, that's kind of like whatever. But like Shirley Temple, dude, and all these like child stars, all this like Hannah Montana shit. Like, what are we doing?
So I'm curious, would you ever take a hiatus?
Yeah, I've actually, I am kind of now. Like, I'm not going to tour in the fall because touring is my favorite thing in the world to do, but it's like doing all this other shit. I kind of just want to, like after specials, I don't know if you ever do this, I like to take like 6 months, like not doing stand-up just to make sure I'm not doing a bad impression of myself, or I'm not trying to like make vestiges of the previous special work just because I
think that's the biggest problem a lot of comics do.
I'm only doing Mothership. I'm going to Mothership next
That's
week.
great.
Yeah. By the way, the best thing that ever happened to comedy is Joe Rogan taking mushrooms. I mean, incredible.
Amen. Amen. But no, I think that's just...
You said you have 2 hobbies.
I'm working on 2 hobbies that I can't turn into businesses and I can't post on social media. I am learning to fence. Fencing is so fun.
Yeah.
And
so Ivy
hard.
League of you.
Keep
That's
the neighbor. Yeah.
so Ivy League of you.
That's
Yeah.
not, it's barely Ivy League.
She's just trying to keep the neighbors out. Are you building fences? Is that what you mean? You're like, don't look at me.
My gun's not loaded. I need to use my sword. That, dude, if
Fencing and what?
Dude, if a stalker showed up at my house and I was just like,
On guard.
they'd be like, never mind. And then target practice. Like I saw you were doing the bow hunting with Joe. Was that fun?
Yeah.
It's hard as shit.
To pull the bow back.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
And this is really dorky, but I am gonna start making quilts.
That's 3.
Oh, nice.
That's beautiful.
Now, is it possible to do those 3 things and not tell anybody about them on podcasts? Can they just be
I
for
would love
your
to keep
joy?
this a secret.
Yeah.
Based on how well that went, I think it's the last I ever mention it. Because I do think I have like
It does go well. It is really funny. You're going to have all these great stories, but can you
from the
still do
quilting,
them?
the adventures in quilting.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I think for me,
Get to
I have this thing in my head where if I'm doing something that's recreational, I feel like I'm falling behind, or if I'm watching a movie, I have to like go make it work. I have to be what?
I mean, what you're saying, I think a lot of people would relate to in the
But I
business.
also think being a comic, it's like just moving through the world and you're like, oh, what's funny about these? Like, what's fun? There's a joke. Like, it's hard to turn off sometimes. But if I'm doing one thing that's kind of like a monotonous task, I can kind of be present.
Yeah.
It's like the fidget spinner 101.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like I can be productive in one way, then I can luxuriate. It's just maybe that's something I need to fix about myself. I went on Prozac, which I don't know, it was probably more a placebo effect that it made me feel like I was able to be a little more calm. I was prescribed Adderall, 5 milligrams of Adderall.
You do not need Adderall.
By the way, no, but for a true OCD, it calms you down. It doesn't amp you up. It was 5.
It's the opposite effect.
It was the
for people
opposite.
who
So
need-
Really?
he prescribed me 5 milligrams of Adderall. What is it when time release to sleep?
To sleep?
Because I can't sleep. But a lot. But
I can't sleep either.
And then, by the way, I said to him, well, there's something about that's interesting. I said to him, I was like, I took the Adderall, I think it's working. And he was like, well, I do have to tell you that it's a placebo dose. 5 milligrams of Adderall was, like most people use it for kids, so that it's intentionally a placebo dose. I'm like, well, what's the point of
Telling
a placebo if you tell me it's a
why would you
placebo? Like,
tell-
what law
yeah.
is that? But the fact that they made it a placebo dose because they knew kids would take it, I mean, there's an Adderall shortage in California.
Yeah.
And no one gets anything done. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but the sleep thing, there's a lot of good science. I don't know what you guys call it around here. Call Huberman. I don't know. Where night watcher DNA. So a lot of us descend from night watchers. So like in the tribes, there's everyone that would have like the daytime circadian rhythm, and the people that would stay up and watch the tribe. And
I
they would
can't
breathe
believe
and
you called us nerds for knowing facts and shit like that.
It
is unbelievable.
I just like
that was
people,
probably your favorite episode of Flagrant because there was like numbers that you could attach to ideas. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second. Listen, I started taking athletic greens, specifically that AG1, because I hated taking pills and vitamins and all that other nonsense. I just want a supplement that can actually taste good, serve me, fit in the schedule, easy does it. This is the best option for easy, optimal nutrition that is out there. You literally take 1 scoop of AG1 and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. Sustainable routines are key. AG1. It's my daily micro habit that makes it easy to absorb key nutrients, lead a healthy lifestyle, and feel my best no matter what the day holds. 1 scoop, 1 minute, once a day, every day. Right now, It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So, to make it easy for you, right now, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/flagrant. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/flagrant to take ownership over your health and pick the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because spring is upon us. Spring is upon us, and you know what that means. The mini skirts are coming out. The sundresses are coming out. It's time for you to act. It's time for you to be right. And it's time for you to stiffen up and fill the void. Can you stiffen up and fill the void? Like that? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you know one thing that will guarantee it, that's Blue Chew, same active ingredients inside Viagra, Cialis. But this is the Chewest one we rock with, okay? If you're pulling up that mini, if you're flipping up that sundress, you need to be ready to deliver. Back of a Buick, sundress goes up, legs wrap around. Armageddon. Armageddon. BlueChew.com, okay? Make sure you use the promo code Flagrant. You're gonna get your first month free. All you gotta do is pay $5 shipping. This is a no-brainer. You do it. Let's get back to the show.
I did take Lex Friedman to your weddings, and then Lex got so wasted, stayed at my house, woke up the next morning to him just staring at my robot in my office.
Whoa.
Like,
How long did he think he was talking to you?
Yeah.
I think he was thrilled. He was like, this I can get behind.
Whitney didn't interrupt me for 10 minutes.
I do need to figure out what to do with her because they're putting Chat GPT in her, so she's gonna be able to like talk. But I'm like, I don't know. What should I think I'm just gonna give her to the mothership to put in the fat man, just hang from the ceiling or something from a news.
That's a good idea.
Because like in Rogan's new club, you get to go under the stage. It's like sick. Like it doesn't kind of feel like for a second like I don't know. It's almost like, you know, when you go under in boxing when you're about to go out.
Oh, yeah, your
like,
ring walk.
Yeah, you're just like, it feels like
yeah.
a little bit like you're under and then you go up. Like, I kind of want to like put her to the top of the ceiling, like looking down.
That'd be kind of wild.
Or something.
Or
What
just seat her in the balcony, just have one seat that's just her.
Yes.
That's fun.
But also, whatever happened, because I brought him, I was at Mothership like 2 weeks ago and I brought him some Rodney Dangerfield sets and Joan Dangerfield came with me. Whatever happened to the Rodney Dangerfield set I gave you?
I don't know.
Wait, a set?
What?
Wait, what do you mean a set?
So I did.
This is a great gift. You gave me a great gift.
Yes, but I was Rodney Dangerfield, like the way that he wrote out his sets, like on the Tonight Show, he would like write out the joke exactly. Like the top would say like "great crowd," like 2 exclamation points. Like he wrote, it was like, it's heartbreaking.
Anchorman.
What's that?
It was like Anchorman.
Oh,
like
yeah.
He would say exactly what was written on
And
the
then he
thing.
would do like a B, an A, like everything that he wrote was like if he got an applause break, he didn't think he deserved, if he needed to work on something, like he had all these like codes and stuff. Also, I've been spending a lot of time.
Stop.
My favorite-
Hold on.
Yeah.
Stay on the story.
Oh, well, I've been spending a lot of time with
No.
Widow.
Stay on the Rodney Dangerfield thing.
Did you think that was going well?
No, it
Yes.
doesn't matter if it was going well. We're listening.
We're going to give you a weighted blanket, okay?
this is-
Hold on. So you gave me
Yeah.
a page
Yes.
from one of his Tonight Show sets, and it was a great gift.
Yes.
And even if none of us are dying laughing, when
Yeah.
we're listening, it's really valuable.
But wait, I was going to say
Also,
something.
real quick, one of my favorite jokes ever is a Dangerfield joke.
Tell me.
He goes, I'm so ugly, I only get girls because of who I am. A rapist. So good. So tight. So tight.
You know-
I mean, it's so good.
You know that he would, after shows, get beat up in the parking lot?
No way. By whom?
Just like, you know, I mean, comedy back then, it was in strip clubs, like, you know, Atlantic City, Catskills. Like, we think about, like, comedians being
But it was
physically...
so self-deprecating. Why would anybody beat him up for
Because he
beating
would
him
say,
up?
like, your wife is ugly, and this is, like, you know, people were just...
He would say, my wife is ugly.
But it's why we just saw Chris Rock get punched in the face for making a joke about G.I. Jane. I mean, it's like, I don't think the people that are doing the attacking are particularly sane. They're jealous he's getting attention. Who knows?
Right,
You know, it's
right.
like, back then it was like, you know, because I was going to maybe do a movie about Joan Rivers, and looking back through footage of, like, opaque smoke in these venues.
Yeah.
Like, we did stand-up when there was inside smoking. I feel like for, like, maybe like I went to like Lexington, Kentucky once, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, people were smoking inside, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is so fucking wild.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
It is, but like you would
vibe.
get Vegas voice. Like Joan Rivers started getting super
will get
raspy.
dry, yeah.
And she also
You get
had
dry.
like 4 miscarriages.
Some
like
of the weed
imagine
rooms are like that.
Yeah.
which one? Oh,
Like,
dude,
up
LA
in
comedy
Toronto.
right now
No,
sucks
no.
because everyone's stoned out of their minds.
Oh, really?
Comedy's supposed to be like a little bit of alcohol. You have some tension, but now everyone's just like chilling. There's like, I think we need to make weed illegal in LA. It's not working.
Really?
I think smoking is fine, but these edibles where everyone's just kind of like
Zonked.
everyone's on fucking edibles or mushrooms. Like everyone's healing. All these white people are
Have
healing.
you tried mushrooms?
I have. I did it on a live podcast. I love them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like
Have you tried mushrooms
Hold on one
not for
second.
content?
Hold on one second.
That's funny.
Hold on one second. You know what you're doing right now?
What?
You ever seen somebody go down a hill on a skateboard?
Someone made this exact thing. Michael Chiklis on my podcast the other day.
Oh.
He said talking to you is like downhilling.
No. You're going down the hill, but you're in a speed wobble. Mm-hmm. So we all just need to take a moment.
But I think you actually
I'm gonna
just slowed
pee. Let's
down.
take that
you
moment.
take a
Yeah.
moment.
We were at the same pace, and then you got tired. You got tied.
You think I got tired?
Well,
Not at all.
you wore yourself out, and now
Is there another option maybe?
you decided to switch gears.
What do you think? What do you think another option
But
is?
no, I was just thinking in terms of it. You're being on
Stop,
this.
stop.
I want to give you a big hug.
Stop.
Why is everyone?
Why you gotta do this? Stop.
What?
You're gonna get her in her
Can you
head.
say something?
No.
Do you see what's happening?
Listen.
Having his
Can I
Oprah
just take
moment.
this? Can I just take this?
Sure.
Can I just take? Okay.
Yes.
So
Or is this your way? You can tell. I know what everyone like
I'm not
thinks
tired.
about me. Okay.
No, I don't care what anybody thinks about you.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
Do you want to go into the?
No.
Okay.
Me slowing down is not a function of me being tired of you or anything.
I was
like
just
that.
joking.
Okay.
I thought that's what we did here. Just trying to make sure the comments aren't too savage.
Fuck them.
Dumb I'll take. Unfunny is where I draw the line.
Fuck them. No, I just wanted to slow down the pace so that you would feel comfortable. But I felt like if I was just going 100%, then you would have to be defensive. So maybe if I was just chilling and just asking you questions I really want to know about you, then we'd all be able to chill.
I like this. What's happening here? What do you want to? You want to ask something?
I will. Where are you going, Mark?
I gotta pee really fast. Sorry.
Okay, good.
What I mean, I think these zins should be outlawed.
Oh, no,
Why?
those are
obviously.
awesome.
Can I say?
It feels like a lot of energy quick, and then it kind of.
Whitney, can I ask you a question about stand-up? Do you think, because you've played the mothership already, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think
Yeah.
the opportunity for young comics is greatest now in Austin? If you're going to compare to LA and New York, I'm not talking about people at our level.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you're going to start comedy.
Yeah.
You're moving to a city to start comedy.
Sure.
You didn't grow up there.
Sure.
Where would you go, and do you think that Austin is like a real viable candidate?
I think Austin is a real viable candidate, but if you're not yet in the orb of Rogan, it's probably a bust.
So give me an
You know
example.
what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that, pound for pound, I mean, LA was like, for me, I made it New York in terms of the number of spots I was able to do. I was doing 12 spots a night in LA. Like, you can do it if you really, you got to drive, like,
LA or New York, you were doing
in
12
LA.
spots? Oh,
I
wow.
made LA like New York. Like, I went to Hermosa. I did like, because the Comedy Store, you can do 3 a night. And then Laugh Factory, you
Improv,
can do
Laugh
2.
Factory,
So I just like
yeah.
scheduled it out where I was able to do, and then there were rooms. Like LA had like rooms, like bowling alleys and sushi restaurants. I mean, it was a nightmare, but like in a way, I actually am like so grateful for that because like New York, I feel like at least when I came out here, didn't have a lot of that. There was like Village Lantern and like some restaurants that had stand up, but we were doing stand up like literally in bowling alleys. Like you would have to time the
New
jokes when they hit the pins.
New York had like a robust alternative comedy scene.
Oh yeah, like Rafifi and
So huge. And then what
Yeah.
happened is, as alternative comedy became more popular, those comics started getting booked in the clubs.
Right.
So their comedy just wasn't celebrated by the clubs just yet. So
Yeah.
they weren't there. So they built their own scene. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then they started getting booked to the clubs, and then the scene just isn't as robust as it used to be. There's still people who do shows and like have different rooms that are like scheduled rooms. Like your boy has a room. What is it, 7th Street?
Yeah, 7th Street. There's like this awesome like little club. Sesh is another one. Where literally like they just found like a basement in like the Lower East Side, and then gutted it, put a bunch of chairs in a stage.
And they treat it like a club. Like
but
they
in
have
LA,
regular
like
shows.
there was so like I'm so grateful that I came up in LA because we did a lot of comedy in just like outside in parking lots, like, you know, laundromats, like just crazy shit, you know, and like to be able to like I mean, there was Miyagi's, which was a sushi restaurant where we would do stand-up. This is when Duncan Trussell was doing he had a dummy, like Lil Bobo. And would madness. And on Tuesday nights, it was like basically urban sushi
Duncan's
night.
a great hang, by the
Dude,
way.
Amazing.
it's the
We need to
best.
get Duncan on the pod.
By the way.
We hung out with him over at the mothership. And
So
he's just
interesting.
he's so interesting. Great wealth of knowledge, has like really good perspective.
He's
and
very also secure in the way he talks. Like you make
very
me realize
generous
this.
energy too. Like he doesn't need to dominate the room. You know, good listener. He's a good hang.
And he's good at like sticking the landing on his conversations. Like for me, I think what you see with me that a lot of people conflate with manic. If I feel myself going in a direction that I know is like not going to pay off in a way that's like, I'm like, ugh, I'll pivot. You know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, let's kind of go this way.
Can we do for the rest of the pod? Can you just keep going down that direction?
Trust that.
And trust that
I
we're
do
interested
on
in
my
it.
podcast, but I think on other people's, I just try to like come in swinging and pop in because I think
we did that already.
I know, but I think when you're on someone else's, like they're not tuning in for the guest, like they're tuning in for you guys and your reaction to the
I think
guest.
it's a combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But stop thinking about necessarily what they're going to think or what they're going to be interested in, because I think the curiosity comes from like what the people that you're watching, right? So if we're genuinely curious about what you're saying, we want that information gap closed.
Yeah.
And you just run somewhere else with it. Now that you can't close that information, now I'm frustrated.
I think because also I have this like before I answer a question, there's like usually a way I need to like set the table.
Why?
So it's like when you said about like the I love you thing, I'm like, well, the background is that I feel like love, that word was used in a very hypocritical way growing up. You know, it's like it would be, but I love you. You would get hit. You know, your mom would forget to take you to school and it'd be like, but I love you. So you only heard I love you when things were bad.
Ooh, so now you're a little bit concerned.
So
about
now
it.
when it's I love you, it's like, oh, what's, you know, so it's just like I have like a Pavlovian response that I would have to rewire with EMDR or whatever. Or it's also like, you know,
it's hard. So
Yeah, I had to take that shit out.
Me,
Burn it.
golly.
is that, did you put it in your mouth? In
Yeah.
your, like a,
It's the nicotine
It was
pouch.
gum, but it was just burning.
but I thought it was a patch like that you did as like a sticker.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, go on.
And it's also like in relationships, I've been in relationships with guys or, you know, that it turns into like, but I love you. And then it's love you, like it, or it's, but I love you, I love it. It like, I love you turns into like, shut up. It's basically like, I love
like
you.
placate the situation.
Yeah, I love you, calm down.
Be manipulated.
Yeah, so it's just like, I think that like, to me, it's just, I'm really big. It's the same thing with Louis did those jokes about, you know, the word hilarious. People will be like, that's hilarious. Like when words have lost their value, we're wordsmiths. I know that's dorky, but like when a word has lost its value, I always want to find a new one because it feels basic or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it just sort of love feels a little bit like mainstream. I don't know.
No, it's a human thing. If
Yeah, I
love
just am
doesn't
like-
carry weight your whole life,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
like-
going to carry weight to you at
Yeah,
all.
and then
You won't
everyone else
trust it.
has their own experience with it. Like I did a joke about this in
Who do you love? That's
I've-
alive.
I love
Human.
I deeply love all my friends. I love you.
Okay.
I love everyone in my life.
Who else?
Everyone you've seen in my feed.
Well, just say the people you love.
I love Leslie,
Who's
who's my housekeeper. She's been with me for 16 years.
Okay.
I had a housekeeper before I had any money.
Stop. Who else do you love?
That was good. That was necessary.
Who else do you love?
Yeah, I think that's important to know.
Who else?
What are you digging for? And I'll give it to you.
It's shocking, the lack of trust. I'm not digging for anything. I just want to go over the people that you love.
Nikki Canodia, my best friend from college.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Who else?
Lizzie Goodman, my best friend from college. One of my best friends from college. I mean, I can go on, but is this?
Keep going on.
I also love all the guys I've dated. Like, I have no, like, I still love my ex Alex, Nick Curzon. I think you've met Nick, one of my oldest friends ever. Like all the men I've dated, I still really love and have
pretty-
good relationships with.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Like, if someone's like not into their ex, I'm like, you're the one that.
Well, sometimes
dated
it's
them.
difficult. You know, a lot of times people
Yeah.
handle rejection in different ways. And,
Yeah.
And I
Figure it
imagine
out.
you've broken out with a lot of the people, so it's hard to not.
But also, I was estranged from my sister for almost 30 years.
Now you guys are
basically.
friends again?
I mean, it's a kind of love that I didn't even
So good.
know
Love your sister.
existed. Yeah.
And you think that's reciprocated a lot?
Yeah. I mean, we've had like a lot of trauma. I mean, I've never even heard of this. Like,
Hold on. So there's all these people you love, and all these people love you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they don't want anything from you. They don't need anything from you. They just love you.
You know, I was thinking about
That's pretty nice. Despite
literally
all the fucked up shit that you went through in your life, despite these fucked up relationships you grew up with.
couldn't be happier.
No, not about happy. Despite all those things that could interrupt your ability to be loved and love people, you got a lot of people who love you.
Well, I think that the key, and my best friend Nikki
Don't explain it.
told me,
Don't
if
explain
you're
it.
going to get your heart broken,
Don't explain it.
Just take it in.
Just take it in.
but I agree.
Stop trying to science
But what do you want me
it.
to say, though?
Just
Stop being a
nothing.
nerd with your
Don't say
facts.
anything.
Just take it in.
Don't
Just
be a
hear
nerd
it.
with your facts.
But I'm going
Hey.
to say a quote that resonated with me.
Yeah, by
Give it
some
a second.
gay guy.
Just give it a second.
Just we love you.
Even if you just took a beat
You're
and took it in.
loved. You love people. There's a lot of love over here. Everything's good. We're Christians on this podcast.
But if I do too much eye contact, I will probably get
what?
emotional.
That's okay.
That's okay to get emotional.
No, I know, but you know.
What would you get emotional
I
about?
go to Barstool Sports after this. You know what I mean? I can't have all
Well,
the.
you can deal
can't
with that
melt the
afterwards.
shellac.
No, but what do you mean you would get emotional?
Cock in the ground is starting.
Don't let her out of this. Don't let her out of this. What do you mean you would get?
No, I think it's like it's. I've been, you know. Do you want me to cry?
I don't want you to cry.
I
want
don't-
to feel real emotions from you. If that's happiness, that's great. If it's sadness, that's great. If you're crying, like, I just want to, you know.
Do you
As someone, someone who he definitely loves you, you talked to me about years ago. I think he just wants to showcase the human you that he knows and loves.
I think we can get so sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Go.
No, you
Keep
go.
going.
It's your thing.
I just think that I don't know. I think that we can get so caught up, especially in our business, about like how we're perceived by a lot of times people we don't know, and then lose sight of how we're perceived by the people that we do know and we care about. And then we maybe almost take that shit for granted. And I do that all the time. Maybe I'll come in, I'll be frustrated or whatever. And like, sometimes I like to take a second and be like, wow, man, like we got a bunch of guys that work on this podcast that like have really fucking busy lives and their own relationships, and everybody's coming in to work on this one thing so that we can all be successful, and they're like sacrificing, they're having time. Like we hung out for Alex's birthday on Friday, and it was like so much fun to like celebrate someone else, right? We can get so focused on our own lives. It's so much fun to celebrate someone else, get drunk, be silly, make fun of each other. And it was just a great thing that we weren't filming it. We weren't making content. It was just guys hanging out, and girl, shout out to Tanya, hanging out and enjoying that.
Check the box.
And I think that that's, I don't know, I think it's really important that we get caught up in that and not necessarily what someone in the comments is gonna say about you.
I think that
Love you, dude.
I love you, and I think a lot of people sort of think this about me, maybe because of social media or something. But like right after my mom died, I had someone that was posting on my social media like for me, and I kind of like forgot about it. I'm like grieving, like, you know, I take like a month. I'm totally off social media, and people start. Annie Letterman, Jesse May Peluso, Tim Dillon just show up at my house unannounced, and they're like, "We're worried about you."
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, we're worried you're not processing the grief or something. Like, what do you, like, I'm editing the roast, I'm working, I'm reuniting with my sister, I rescued 2 more horses to do equine therapy. I'm like, totally like being the most person I've ever been. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm really feeling my feelings and, you know, with the mom stuff, you know? And
So is it frustrating
well,
that
it was
they
also,
came?
by the way, have you ever seen ashes of a person? Dude, I found a button in her ashes.
What was it for?
I'll show you the video. I don't know what it was. No one knows what it was. It was like a little, we were scooping the ashes, which by the way, ashes, it's not, they don't.
Stop.
What?
Come back. Don't do your ashes material.
This isn't
I just want to
material.
hear about, your friend.
But I'm telling you, I'm
coming to
grieving.
your house.
I'm doing everything
and
I need to
caring
do.
about you. That's what I want to hear about.
Yeah, they show up, which by the
It
way.
was probably frustrating.
And
It
they
was
were
probably
like-
annoying.
No, it wasn't. I was kind of like, because a lot of people were talking about that they were worried about me and, you know.
What an awesome thing.
I know, I agree.
That people care.
But.
And they're willing to take time out of their busy
invite
days.
me to dinner. Just like call me.
Interesting.
It's also, you invite me to dinner.
Yeah.
Also, it's like
You feel like there wasn't enough.
No, it was just like, I think that people think I'm so busy all the time because of social media or something. Everyone's like, I know you're busy, I'm like, I make time, I make my own schedule, like I can do whatever I want.
So you felt like there wasn't enough personal connectivity.
No, I think that comics, like it's, you know, we're vampires, and I think that, you know, I'm the same way.
I know, you said who came over? It was Annie, Tim,
Tim, 3 of my dearest friends.
who else?
Jesse May Peluso. Caluso. Annie
I don't
Letterman.
talk to Annie and Jessie May regularly, but I talk to Tim, and I know Tim really cares about
I
you.
love him to death.
So just know that.
I know.
If he took
He's-
time out of his busy fucking schedule, it's because he fucking cares
And we had a
about you.
similar mom thing where you have this mom that's alive that sort of, breaks your heart if she, can't live with her, can't live without her kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it meant so much to me that they
Good.
showed up.
Good.
And then I kind of was like, oh, am I giving off a vibe that I'm not available to hang and to, because I feel like I'm always like trying to get dinner.
No, you're giving off a vibe that you're fucking falling apart because you bought 2 horses.
Rescued, bought. I'm not paying money for horses. I'm not like, what kind of Santa Barbara shit are you on? Fuck out of here. Like a nightmare.
I did look into the price of a horse.
Upper crust motherfucker.
You can get them for cheap, these horses.
No, I can
Like
get them to you for
$1,400.
free. No, don't get a $1,400 horse.
not?
Either $200,000 or free. There's no in between on a horse.
Really?
Yeah, that's some fucking.
Nice $1,400 horse.
No,
When
no,
I was
no.
up in Calgary, I was
There's
looking into
no,
it.
the $1,400 horse is like a.
It's the girl horse.
I was gonna say a $1,400 horse is like a $3,500 car.
What's wrong with that?
It's fine. I'm just saying it's not gonna run
It'll
that
get you there.
far. Maybe.
I'm not
Might.
gonna race the fucking thing, but can I go walk around circles or whatever horses do?
No, but I think I'm trying to ascertain because I feel like I'm better than I've ever been, and I think I also going off birth control. I had so much energy, and then after my spots at the Comedy Store, I used to go straight to my mom's nursing home and have to do some gnarly shit every
I think
night.
you're going through a lot, and I think it's really cool that you have friends that care about you enough to show up and just be like, hey, how you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
And I know in that moment, it's easy to reject it. I know once I was...
No, I was just trying to understand how I'm perceived.
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
I remember we were doing this Netflix special, and I was really stressed out because there was a mistake in it, and I was taking Adderall, and I kind of yelled at everybody. And Mark called me later that night, and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I was like, "I'm good," and I felt a little frustrated at first because I thought he was trying to manipulate me. I thought he was like, "Hey man, we."
Do you think it makes you paranoid?
No. I didn't understand it. He was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know we care about you and you're great and we love you, man. And I just checking in to make sure you're okay." And my first reaction is, "He trying to manipulate me? What the fuck is going on? What's good?" And then I realized I'm reacting that way because I probably was feeling insecure because we were going to put this thing out and ultimately I was going to be judged for it, right? Mm-hmm. And it was really nice that a friend, when I was in a fucked up situation and I was projecting those insecurities, that they came and just said, "Hey, man, thank you." I didn't react that way in the moment, but I understood it later. So I guess what I'm saying is if you harbor any resentment for these friends coming to you,
I don't.
Just know that they care, and that's why they do it.
Yeah, and I think that for me, it's like as you get older, I think there's a way to care, and you have to learn how to care properly with somebody.
Everybody cares differently.
Totally.
But
And
judge them by their intent.
No, but I'm not. But I've already said that I'm not upset. You're trying to push this thing that I'm mad
I'm
at
not trying
them.
to push
I'm not
anything.
mad at them.
You said, "Call me for dinner."
No, but I just said, I was like, what's going on with us as a community that we stopped hanging out off camera too. So I think that a lot of
Dude, it's hard.
but I think also a lot of comedy, like
Akash
comedians.
and I have to plan times to hang out.
Yeah.
Well,
We have
comedians-
lives, we have worlds that we want to do.
Totally,
things.
I'm just saying we're in a very high risk profession,
Yeah.
and it used to be. I think the way that we stayed sane was having offline conversations in the in the green room, in the hallway, and now it's like save it for the pod. Like we're monetizing all of our conversations for public consumption, which is great. It's healing a lot of people. People love it. Can I finish before you roll your eyes?
All right, fine.
Can I finish before you roll your eyes?
apologize.
So maybe it's more of an LA thing because of the number of comics that commit suicide, and it's like after, this will make me cry, after losing Brody, I really check up on people hard. Even people that I know have been shitty to me or talk shit about me, because I think that once you start gossiping about other comics, you're doing it to self-soothe. It's an addiction because you hate yourself. And if you're talking shit about me or if you hate me, whatever, then you hate yourself. There's something else going on.
It's a problem that a lot of us do.
That's really mature of you, though.
You got to take the contrary action and just go, it's like because I know how I feel about you and I know how much I want to support you and I know how much I care. So
Yeah.
if you're turning on me, you're turning on yourself, and we just have to hug harder. But with the pandemic, it was kind of wild that, because we're coworkers first and foremost, I think you think comedians are your family. I felt really close. I never had a family, so I made comedians my family. The pandemic happens and you realize, oh, we're fucking strangers. We just talk because we're at work together. We have to, and I was just kind of a little bit of a, naive on my part, or, oh, these people that fuck with me, I can provide employment for them, or they want something from me, which is great. I love being used.
That's not being used.
It's if I can provide, like, I mean, a big part of doing the OnlyFans roast is I just wanted to fucking employ comics. I wanted to employ writers, and they had so much money, you know. And I was able to pay comics a lot. I was able to hire like 30 comics as writers, New York and LA. Like, why not? Like, comedy is just like, there's, as you were saying
but
before.
They're not using you. They're also doing a job. And they're providing their skill, and you are giving them an opportunity to provide that.
Totally. And it's mutual exchange, transactional, but I know what it's like.
And what a blessing to be able to do that for them.
But I know what it's like to be coming up and like, want to send someone a packet or ask for a job. I don't like, I'm like, give me your packet. What are you doing right now?
I think you're really good about that.
Proactive.
I think you're really good about that.
Because if you're funny, like, you know, all these like bullshit, like, I mean, I don't even know what the fuck I would do if I was starting comedy now. Would you start TikTok? Would you be, like, there's no middle ground. There's no, like, and this is part of the reason I really want to work with OnlyFans TV. I want to break out, like, only comedy fans, like, half-hour specials. Like, people that aren't you, that can't, you know, necessarily do what you guys do yet, but, like, half hours, 15 minutes, like just being able to put specials out somewhere for free. Like, what would you do? What are comics now waiting around to get on Fallon? Like, what the
put your content
online,
and I think you put your content online. I think there's a lot of avenues for you to put it online for free.
But if it's only on your platform, like you have to rely on other people promoting you or getting on podcasts, it's like
not really. But I hear what you're saying. I think what's cool about the way that you're saying is that like there's a financial incentive. Like you can put money in people's pockets and for their hard-earned comedy, etc.
Like what I'm doing on OnlyFans for my profile, mine's instead of dirty photos and dirty videos, it's dirty jokes.
Yeah.
It's like jokes I kind of like if I were to tell other places, I would like get in trouble or just like unnecessary like Twitter bullshit. And like after every show in every city, I do roast jokes about the city where I'll like go hard at the sports teams or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And then I put that on my OnlyFans profile.
Yeah.
And so it's like just jokes I can't do anywhere else. So it's like comics could be making so much money doing that.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second. All right, because maybe there's somebody out there that, just like our boy Shifty got hit by a car. Car runs away, okay? Maybe the car you get hit by is a nicer car, okay? Maybe they hit you in a way where you could get some money out of it that you would absolutely deserve. Maybe you use Morgan & Morgan to make sure that you get the money that you could be entitled to. Okay? Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 800 lawyers. They have over $15 billion recovered for clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is so easy. It's more like using an app than hiring a lawyer, okay? With Morgan & Morgan, you can submit a claim without ever having to leave your couch. It's 8 clicks or less. You submit a claim to Morgan & Morgan, and their fee is free unless you win. Think about that, nothing to lose. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. Okay, for more information, go to forthepeople.com/flagrant or dial #law. That's #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/flagrant or #law, #529 from your cell. Now let's get back to the show. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second because balding is a choice. That's right. If you're sitting at home scratching your stupid bald head, just know you made a choice, okay? Now, if you look at yourself and maybe your shit is thinning a little bit, why don't you put a stop to it right now? You put a stop to it right now with Keeps. Keep your hair with Keeps. It's very simple. With Keeps, you can get the quality expert care without ever visiting a doctor's office or pharmacy. Easily subscribe to Keeps and get refill reminders so you'll never run low on the products that you have. I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you. Look at this mane I have right here. Over a decade, rocking with it. Lovely. It's a choice now, boys and girls. It is a choice, all right? If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, you go to keeps.com/flagrant to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/flagrant to get your first month for free. keeps.com/flagrant, but act now because treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results. So you better act fast. Now let's get back to the show.
Like I love dick pics. Like they're so, because I'm obsessed with people's bathrooms and like dick pics. Like I love to be like, Irish Spring has a shower. Like I like to look in the background.
Shower curtain.
I love to look in the backgrounds of dick pics. It's just like you learn so much.
Yeah.
It's like because guys don't think about their backgrounds, and you
Yeah.
get a lot. Like, do you ever? It's
so many dick pics.
I see a lot of bathrooms.
let's go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a home tour for me. Do you ever, when you're on a plane?
That's good when you send Whitney a dick pic. She's like, "Who's your contractor?"
Yeah. Exactly. Do you ever walk up and down a plane to see what everybody's watching?
No.
That's like my number one way to just
That is kind of fun.
Just be like, what's going on in the zeitgeist? What are people actually?
I'm normally
watching?
sitting in the back, so I get a pretty good vantage point. Unlike you, you have to actually trek all the way back there where
Do you
I'm
have you
sitting.
fly in Rosa Parks?
Yeah, basically.
Buddy. But so I'll walk up and down because it's like, we delude ourselves into being like, everybody watches Succession, everybody watches this show, and then you walk up and down like, fucking
People are
spirit. It's
watching.
just friends,
Yeah.
What is it? Fucking Big Bang Theory. It's just all sort of like that kind of shit. And you're like,
So you had these like great intimate relationships, friendships with comics, and then something happened where you felt like it wasn't as not with the guys you mentioned, but maybe with other people where it wasn't as pure or familial as you
I
thought.
think that it's such a.
You're not the only person to bring this up to me. That's why.
I think that there's such a deep scarcity complex. I think the type of person that attracts to comedy is already going to be very competitive. I also have a theory that, like, I break down people in my life from people that played team sports and people that didn't.
But don't talk about that just yet.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I can, like, the people that don't play team sports, it's like me versus you all the time, where I always see it as a team. I think you see it as a team, you all rise, like the ships rise together. Rogan sees everything as a team.
I asked Rogan about it, and I was like, where did this come from? Because you're like a deeply competitive dude. Like, deeply competitive dude. And I was like, well, why are you so, like, supportive of everybody?
Well,
like,
it's also, there's an arrogance in knowing, like, I know none of these motherfuckers are going to eclipse me.
okay, maybe...
Bert Kreischer, I think I can give him a platform. I think I'll be okay.
But maybe it's, I don't know, someone else. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not that, like, I don't know. So I asked him, and he was like, yeah, it's all martial arts. I go, what do you mean? He goes, we're, like, doing jujitsu, and, like, a guy is trying to literally choke me out. He's trying to stop me from breathing, and he's my teammate. And he's gonna help me get better at this. And he's like, yeah, if I didn't have that background to understand that, like, everybody can get better while also competing with one another. Because I think a lot of times people who are in very competitive industries, they think like, oh, I have to silence that person, stop that person. You saw this happen in Hollywood a lot, where it's just like, oh, this person fucked me over. Well, no, they get nothing. And the reality doesn't have to be like that. You've seen, like, the success of, like, Drake in hip hop, where he basically puts on every other person that could be competitive with him. He's like, I want to put them on. I'm going to show up at their concert. He just shows up at the Dreamville Fest the other day, and people are talking about how fucking amazing it is. So instead of being, like, jealous and hateful, Drake has a concert coming up soon. He's like, yo, let me go show love at this place. And the people that tend to do that happen to have the most success.
So do you think that Rogan, like, on some level, it's like he needs a sparring partner? So, like, that's why he wants to have, like, good people on?
He doesn't see it as
there's only one spot.
It's just making
there's
him
only
better.
one spot. I think he goes, okay, everybody, there can be more than one black belt in jiu-jitsu. There can be more than one black belt in comedy.
Also, like, this is someone, John Mayer said this once to me, and it stuck with me. He was like, you freeze at the age you become famous. And, like, I don't know if that's true or not, doesn't matter.
They say that about molestation.
Sure. I was wearing this when I got molested. That is a weird coincidence. And that's
No, but that's why you got, like, the little girl voices in a lot of these, like, porn stars and shit like that. They went through something horribly traumatic at, like, 14.
It's also a big thing on this is part of the reason that when, like, people get, like, gnarly plastic surgery, women especially, a lot of times they're trying to change the face of the person that got molested, so they look in the mirror and it's not the same person. Also, people with a, like, big clinical obesity is another way, being, like, clinically obese, protecting yourself from, being sexual in any way. Anorexia also, you kind of want to, like, be invisible.
But what you were saying?
About sort of the scarcity complex in comedy.
No, John Mayer.
Oh, John Mayer, that you freeze the age or you become famous. And Neil Brennan, I was talking about this with him once, because Neil Brennan, there was a time where he would wear, we were writing a movie together, and he would wear, like, jeans and then, like, a t-shirt and a hoodie, and the t-shirt and the hoodie always like matched. It was like orange and purple, or like yellow and blue. And this, like, makes me love Neil so much. I was like, how do you, like, pick, like, what colors go with what? And he went, team colors. Like, all team colors matched. And I was like, I guess that's true, but like, yeah, it's like that's Charlotte Hornets, like, you know. But he wore the same thing, and we talk about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I think I froze like when Chappelle. This is exactly what I wore when Chappelle show got big." Yeah. And you kind of go, "This worked. Whatever was happened when you got a big success." And so also Rogan, like, he got so successful doing whatever that is, so why change it? You're like, even if you don't even know why, just keep doing the thing that made you that successful. Unless you're Ellen.
Yeah, that's right. Ellen completely flipped it. I do think you need to keep evolving with your success. I think that that's how you have like that incredibly profound lifetime career. Like, say what you want about like the Beatles. I'm not even the biggest Beatles fan.
I do not, dude. The only good song is when Yoko came on. I'm telling you, the word Christmas.
Hot take. Hot take.
Dude, the Beatles suck. It's music for kids.
Atrocious take.
Okay. Okay. Let's assume.
Nightmare.
Everybody's starting to shit on the Beatles now.
Houses of like, what the fuck are you saying?
I don't know if that's a Beatles
I
song.
loved it.
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
It's like
We've been
Magic
saying this
School
about
Bus
the Beatles
shit.
forever.
Okay.
It's corny.
You can also use Jay-Z. There's different people whose comedy or music or whatever it is have evolved, right? Like you look at a guy like Pryor, you look at a guy like Carlin, right? Like they could have done that like cookie cutter clean stuff because they had success with it, and they continue to evolve and change.
Right.
And I think that's how you have longevity in the career. You were talking about it earlier, and I think that this often does happen in comedy. Is like you can do an impression of yourself, and that's I think where you get stunted.
Right.
So it's ballsy thing to kind of reflect on where your life is, and then have that comedy also.
But then when you have fans that expect a certain thing, it's like Dane Cook. I think there were a lot of things that contributed to that sort of going sideways. But I opened for him for a couple times. I remember we were in Sunrise, Florida, like 40,000 seat arena. Like it was so I had to like leave the screaming. People were holding up posters.
Yeah.
Like teenagers, whatever. They were holding things. They had. It was not
once in a generation.
It was like a rock show. It was not like a comedy show. I was like so loud. And then, he was doing such physical stuff and the cashew. And then his brother stole from him. Still have questions about that. And his parents, I guess, died. And then I saw him at the Improv one night, and he was like trying like darker shit, and like he was doing something that was like about having an abortion joke that was like really funny, but it was just coming from him, and it was
and if your fans really fuck with you and they're really interested in you,
they'll be in to see that.
They're going to be interested in this life change.
But don't you think it didn't really take?
I don't know. I can't say. I think only Dane can speak on that because I don't know how he's reflecting.
I think they wanted that like energy, that like super physical comedy. I think that's what people signed up for.
Make sure the new version of whatever you're doing is even hotter.
Because don't you think sometimes like
still authentic
and and pure, because people are going to gravitate to the authenticity. I mean, like
this is why I want to go back to half hours.
So big that he got big to a point where everybody was just going to drag him down. Like you can't get that big without upsetting a lot of people, and they're gonna try their best.
Just like
to
Neil
bring you
Brennan said once. He said to me once, he was like, if I was gonna be a comedy manager, I would just walk into comedy clubs and sign whoever the comedians hated. Like, who do you hate? Signing them. But it was also like he was also so self-generating. Like it wasn't cool to be self-generating. Like it's cool that you're self-generating. Like taking matters in your own hands, like hustling. Back then, like MySpacing people all day was kind of like corny. Like comics sat around and smoked pot all day, and the idea is you're just this genius.
I think trying. I think one of the cool things that I'm seeing now in comedy is that like comedians are into trying.
Trying hard is not lame. I mean, when I started, everyone's like, "You're
trying
so ambitious."
Hard was lame.
Yeah, they're like
but that's
Whitney
because
networks. It's like.
Well, no, trying hard was lame because there was an opportunity where you didn't have to try hard at anything except the art. Like, you could just go do whatever you want, and then there's going to be an exec who's like, we're going to make you a star. And then it kind of worked for some people.
Yeah.
And I think a cool transition right now, and I think one of the reasons why we're in like a comedy boom is because comedy can be more authentic because comedians are trying.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying and they're also creating the art they want to make.
I also think comedians, like every now and then I get my ass handed to me when I see a meme made by someone that's not a comic.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, people are fucking funny,
people are funny.
We gotta step it up.
We think we're the only funny people. We're not. The internet is way funnier than all of us.
Dude, we just happen to have the delusional confidence to go up on stage. Like when I see like Bill from accounting just like made this meme, I'm like, dude, you're not gonna make a career out of this? They're like, no, I'm not nuts.
There are tons of absolutely hilarious people out there, and now they all have access for their comedy talents, and they're going to put it up there, and it's going to succeed.
And you can find comedy whenever you want. So, like, to me, when I do shows now, I'm like, what can I offer that? And I think that's part of why, you know, in the roast, I decided to go for that emotional, vulnerable moment because I was like,
It's like everybody's gonna be doing these roast
you guys
shows.
know I can do jokes. I've done them before. You know I can get laughs. I'm also the boss of this. You know what I'm saying? I can give myself the best set. I'm also not going to be like the person that like produces a roast and then has all the fucking haymakers like hitting it. Like my friends showed up. I paid that. Like I'm not going to embarrass them. I'm going to try to embarrass myself or do something kind of experimental. It could totally bomb, and that might make people really uncomfortable. But same thing with the robot. I was like at the point where I was like, okay, I can get laughs. I can get an applause break. I can get a standing ovation. But like, can I get like a like I want to give people something like memorable, you know, and a feeling that they wouldn't normally feel in comedy. And then I think a lot of times in specials and shows, it just turns into this monotonous ha ha ha, and you're kind of laughing because you've been trained to laugh like Pavlovian. So I wanted to break that up and see if I could still earn laughs after it. You know, it's like watching Bill Burr go on. He'll go on in the OR and he'll like come out with some just wild shit just to put himself in a hole so he can dig himself out of it, you know? And when he came out, this was like years ago, he's like, so Kanye, it was something like, he's like, I think we can all agree that black people and white people are different. Like just something that like, ooh, like let me finish. You know, it's all like, let me finish. But he like was in such a hole and watching himself dig out of it. I'm like, that's how you stay great and don't plateau.
100%.
You have to also do comedy for people that aren't your fans. So my next tour, I just want to like pop up on other people's tours or something, featuring and stuff to like see, because if it's only your fans, it becomes a rally.
100%.
You know?
No, yeah. Well, yeah, I think that when you're working the act, it shouldn't only be in front of your fans. And I think that's how you get it undeniable and strong. Obviously, that becomes more difficult as you become more famous, right? Because everybody's familiar. Chris Rock, everybody knows who he is. Dave Chappelle, everybody knows. But I think like working and sculpting the act. And then I think when you tour, you shouldn't hope your fans don't come out. I think that's the greatest privilege.
No, I think it's just like getting good, like the store, just showing up. Like I always want to put my name on, like, you know, but to just show up and
I think it's a balance of both.
to earn.
I think I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. A hilarious comic. His name is Daniel Simonson. It's brilliant. This kid is so funny.
Is he in New York?
He's New York. He's originally from Norway. He is so funny. I think he has a residency at like the St. Mark's Theater in New York, but go check it out. He's just so funny. Anyway.
Residencies are fascinating to me.
Yeah. So he was like, I noticed that you put your name on the lineup at the cellar. And because there's certain people who will use like an alias or whatever like that. And some people have to they have like stalkers and specific things like that.
Okay, no one's, as you said.
No, some people.
I have stalkers too.
Some people, no. Like it's probably been an issue.
If you can't beat up your own stalker, you don't deserve to be famous.
So, but I told him, I was like, yeah, it's like, you got to also give back to the clubs. Like for years,
that's exactly it.
You perform at the clubs, you take the stage time.
That's right.
And they invest in you.
That's right.
And then if you get to the point where you can't also invest in them, or you can get invested in them, and then you go, oh no, don't put it up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now that being said, you can balance it.
Yeah.
But like I'd look at the lineups in LA. I'd see Bill Burr on the lineup, Sebastian on the lineup, you're on the lineup, Rogan's on the lineup. They put their names on there.
Always.
I'm not gonna go.
It's a punk ass move, I think, to not.
That's just my personal opinion. I think we owe it to the clubs because they let us.
By the way, you're even safer if there's proof of where you are. No one's going to kill you.
You're worried about kidnapping and that kind of stuff.
No, I'm not at all. It's like Gavin
worried
DeBecker, the book, The Gift of Fear Will Change Your Life. Anyone that gives you, no one that's actually going to kill you is going to give you a heads up. So if someone's like, death threats is the safest thing you can get.
This never comes in my mind whatsoever, the death threats thing.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. It's like working the act in front of people who are like surprised, they don't know.
It's like when I think like there was a time where at the store, Joey Diaz was going up every Wednesday, Thursday. And I would follow Joey Diaz and everyone would be there to see him in the main room. And I would literally like have to stretch like before, like that was, because everyone was there to see him. He would destroy, the building would be shaking. And then you'd go out and you'd have to and every night I'd have to wait longer and longer to start. You have to let everyone just miss him, process, like reset the energy. Sebastian would do, also I'd watch him follow Joey Diaz. Motherfucker would just pace like a panther. Like he would just be like, I'm not speaking until you guys are done missing him.
Yeah. Because
there's no host at the Comedy Store also, so there's no one resetting the energy.
There's a...
which I love that Rogan's Club doesn't have hosts too.
That's, they're in...
and that's maybe also real quick, shit. this is making me realize how I might have gotten hoodwinked in thinking that I was closer to comics than I thought, is because when you bring on other comics, like this next comic, good friend of mine.
My greatest friend.
She's one of my best friends, and I'm like, really?
Tony Hinchcliffe, he has a funny name for his show that he was doing at the Comedy Mothership. He calls it Tony Hinchcliffe and his current friends.
My Comedy Mothership next week is Whitney Cummings, and I told them to put friends in quotes.
Friends in quotes. No, but I remember going up when I was younger in comedy, when I just got past the cellar, going up after Attell. And like I really learned that there's like just levels to the game, because he was just operating on so many different levels. It was like great jokes, crowd work, personality, like all these things were happening seamlessly. And then I would go up and I'd be like, what's going on here? Like, I have jokes. Like, why is this not kind of connecting? And it really forced me to learn how to like develop that connection. So I don't know. I think we embrace those things. It's
but also, Attell he did one thing on Rogan that reminded me sort of our job as comedians, and I think that a lot of us forget sometimes that it's our job to surprise. Like it's like surprise. Like the idea is you're taken one way. How am I going to surprise you? And what I love about what Sebastian does is he'll say a premise about something. He'll say, like, for example, like I remember one time he was in the OR and he was like, anyone here have a Blu-ray? And he just holds. Yeah. And then people already start laughing because they already have their own experience with a Blu. Some don't. They try to work it. Yeah. So they're already like, I have a funny thing about a Blu-ray. And then he's got his thing, which is a killer. Like he's obviously got a better joke than them. So you get two for the price of one. Yeah. They get to participate in what their punchline is, and then he gives the next punchline. Where am I going with this? Do you know?
Talking about operating on all cylinders. Yeah. And the people that are at the most elite.
Something you learn from Attell on Rogan.
Okay, so I think that I'm watching a lot of comedy, thank you, that is like kind of, feels like it's a similar ChatGPT, Meta, TikTok, like the same references over and over again. And if you're on a book show, by the time the audience, 4 comics in, has already heard ChatGPT 7 times, abortion Texas. It's our job to like have these like esoteric references. And to me, I want to be the drug dealer of nostalgia. I want to be like Santa Claus with some like surprise shit, right? So it's part of the reason I wanted to make Roseanne. Like that nostalgia drug, like that, like this Lisa Frank shit. Like when people see Lisa Frank, like what brands can do that for people, to just like that instant. And what references, which is why I'm trying to like really take time to like read more. I know that sounds like stupid, but truly read.
The information you have in your head will define your jokes. But it's also about our like references, the words that we use, and being so specific about it. So Attell was on Rogan, and he's just funny even when he's not trying to be funny. And he said something about the outdoor dining in New York, and Rogan was like, "Why is there still outdoor dining in New York?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." He's like, "I went in one of those outdoor dining things. I felt like I was in a manger."
It's funny.
Perfect word. It's like manger. Like it's like the perfect way to describe it. I'd heard a lot of people do outdoor dining jokes. It's like that simple. It's like a fucking manger. Like so it's like a word that like wasn't in the rotation necessarily, and you have to make sure certain references are in the rotation so you can get that perfect cut. Like whether it's like like at Michael's or what I mean, the Delia's catalog. Like these little references that make people go like, oh shit, and it like lights them up and unifies people. Because I think as comics, like we try to divide sometimes, but unifying a crowd with some universal reference, slap bracelet, Princess Diana Beanie Baby, whatever it is, like those deep cuts, I feel like masterfully working in those like references elegantly. Yeah. Really, and also when you go from town to town, changing them and catering them to the town. So it's like I've started going, oh, it's my responsibility now that I've been to this city 7 times. I'm gonna go in a day early instead of flying the day of, and blah, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna like have dinner at the restaurant everyone tells me to go to, and I'm like really
learn
cater
about the city.
Yeah, and really cater the because I've been to every city, but I haven't really enjoyed any.
You don't do anything in the city.
Yeah. And cities, like it's weird. Like since the pandemic, I feel like cities are more unique or something. Like it used to kind of be like everyone's got a Maggiano's, every city kind of felt the same, but now in the pandemic there's some like city pride thing that feels like it's deepened. And like, I mean, just from being there's a lot more like, I don't know, it just feels like the people from Cincinnati are like really, everyone's from Cincinnati now. Whereas it used to be like,
there's more city
no
pride.
one can afford to leave the city anymore, so they had to commit. They're like, they're lifers. They're lifers now or something. But there was just, I think, City Pride that came out with the trauma bonding of the pandemic or something.
And isolationism.
Yeah.
Like they're becoming tourists in their own town probably.
Totally, and like the trauma bond, like I just feel like if you make fun of the local mayor about the mask thing, everyone's like, fuck, like everyone's kind of like bonded in like an odd way.
Yeah, well, they had a group experience.
Did you find after the pandemic there were a lot of fights in your crowds? I had fights almost every show.
Really?
Breaking out, yeah.
What kind of fights? Like
just like fucking, I have a video from the Dallas show at the Majestic. Like, I think it was just people were, you know, like so tense, shoulder to shoulder, exhaling droplets on each other, and there was still like a...
anxiety.
It was at the places that didn't have masks. People
I remember doing shows during the pandemic at like 25% capacity or whatever, and those were fucking nightmares.
Nightmare.
And it was election time, and the election felt so high stakes. The audiences were no fun. Everything felt like this, we shouldn't be joking about this.
Yeah.
And it was already, they're too far apart to really let a contagious laugh happen. Comedy during the pandemic was the fucking worst.
But don't you feel like whatever this cancel culture of charade, whatever people talk about, has been like the best thing for comedy?
Yes.
Like I feel like there's tension again, there's eggshells on the ground.
I feel like it's done.
Well, I don't think, it's been a good thing for comedy.
Oh no, it was a great thing for comedy,
You know?
for sure. But I feel like now it's done. Like now comedy's gonna get really weird and like meta.
Well, I just feel like it was impossible to shock anyone 4 years ago.
Here's the best way to look at it, and I'll give Ronnie Chang credit for this. He said something like this. It was like, comedians, we make fun of institutions. Sometimes comedy gets so big it becomes an institution, and then comedians start to make fun of it. And that's what meta comedy is, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like making fun of comedy. But comedy needs to be so popular
Yeah.
in order for there to be comics to make fun of it. When comedy isn't that popular, you can't even make the joke about corny comedy because people are unfamiliar with what corny comedy is.
Yeah.
They don't know what hacky comedy is. They don't know any of these things. So now that comedy is in this like absolute boom, never been this big ever in history,
and
there
comedy
will be
in America
comedy
is not that
making fun of it.
old. I mean, it's like stand-up comedy in America is like...
I mean, the biggest it probably got was like the 80s before
80s I
this.
heard was crazy.
You know what I want to do? I want to like do some shows in the Catskills.
Yeah,
How come we never? Like, I feel like there's like not a lot of gigs there.
Popping again.
Really?
So the Catskills were this place where like the Borscht Belt comedy lived.
Dirty
like,
Dancing was set there. Like it was like, well, Jews weren't allowed to do comedy in New York, country clubs, so they were like forced to go out to the Catskills.
Yeah.
But like, why don't we do that? That's like a tradition that I feel like we should, I don't know, or not. I mean, it has to pay well.
Probably a lot.
You guys have to have a lot of cash, but it's like weird that we don't do that.
Yeah.
But like Vegas, Atlantic City plays, that always feels like, you know, but it's also like comedy's gotten so popular. Like, it's interesting to see like how this fascination with female comedians, you know, like the shows Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Hacks, but it's like they love the idea of talking about female comics, but no female comedians are involved. They're like, we don't actually want them in the writers' room. I mean, not that I would want to be, you know, but why not hire a couple female comics?
No, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel had a writer. Esther Steinberg, I think, was a writer.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
pretty
that's
sure.
good,
I'm
that's
pretty
good.
sure.
That's
and
good.
then I think the girl in Hacks that's not a comic in the show, I think is a
Oh,
comic.
yes, that's right. That's right. Lorraine Newman's daughter is the younger girl. But I guess it kind of like, I mean, and look, I have comic brain, so I'm always going to look for the crack or the like devil's advocate. But the idea that the show Hacks, it's like, what would be a believable story about a famous female comedian who has a Vegas residency? She's in her 60s. Like, she can't write jokes. that can't write jokes.
Nice.
Oh, is that the story?
Needs a writer.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that the?
are we known for having people just write our jokes for us?
Wait, is that the story?
Yeah, it's like she like is
She
becoming.
got stale, I think.
She got
is it.
stale and is like having someone. I just don't think anyone can write jokes for other people. I used to do it when I first started.
Yeah.
For a couple comics that were kind of very like, you know, I don't know, hokey in a way. But when I hear comics have writers, I'm like, how could? Like, I can brainstorm with people, but the idea that someone's like, here's a joke, and you just do it.
Well, it can't be pure. It can't be authentic.
So bizarre. Like, why would you? There's no point of doing
I
comedy.
feel like that's gonna happen a lot more now because comedy's more. It's like the DJ now. You know how every celebrity was becoming a DJ. Now I feel like every Instagram influencer is becoming a comic.
Yeah.
So
It's like the way to monetize your internet fame.
Yeah.
If you're funny online,
So now writers are gonna get paid
exactly. So your
crazy.
agent is going to come go, hey, why don't you do a tour, and then we'll get these writers to write you enough jokes where people can come out and see you.
Well, a lot of these people, because
but
like
then they go and watch, and it's like, oh, this isn't real comedy. This is what happens a lot of times to like the internet comedians. I mean, we're all internet comedians, but the ones who don't do stand-up is like, they make some money one time around.
Yeah.
And then that second tour.
It's basically a big meet and greet.
Doesn't look the same.
They just go, like, they do 10 minutes and then photos, but that's exactly right. They'll come once, but they're not gonna, the idea with us is that you come and then next year you bring back 5 of your friends, and the next year it's a family reunion.
And that puts the onus on us to write a show that they gotta tell people about.
Or that they go, like, when this person is in town, like, because, you know, I also
Gotta
wanted to
go.
work with,
Yeah.
I wanted to work IMAX. What the viewers want the most with IMAX is comedy. And I was talking to the Megan Roybal, the head of IMAX, and I was like, yeah, why don't we all do like 5 minutes on each city, whatever, and like there's an IMAX that'll play like all of us of when we're coming to their town. When you're at, you know, in Cincinnati, you'll do 5 minutes on Cincinnati, but get paid, put it in this IMAX thing. They can come see it on Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever. It promotes everyone's shows. Like there's just so much like.
I don't think people want to go see comedy in the theaters.
Yeah, I mean, it's the IMAX.
I think they want to watch it at home. I think
see
the
the-
only things
Did you
that
see the
people
3D
will, I'll
thing?
just keep saying it. I think
I know. I was like,
the only things that people will watch in the theaters in the near future will be big, like Avatar, Maverick type films, big action,
Marvel.
and then horror. They'll see those two. I think at home, rom-coms, you will never be in a movie theater ever again, or successful in one.
Do
and
you
I think
remember-
they will watch weird stuff that they've never seen before. So, for example, experimental film like Everything Everywhere Everywhere Once
All
or
at
whatever.
Once, yeah.
That type of film is just so like unexplainable that you go, oh, this is experiential in its own way, and this is the only way I can see it, so I'll watch it there. But the traditional rom-com, like...
I don't fully agree because I think there are theaters popping up. Sorry to interrupt. There are theaters popping up that cater to those movies. Like an iPick, it's great for a date night. You just have your little pod with your girl.
I think that's the thing. Everyone will
we're
always
still
need
leaving the
somewhere to go
house.
on a date.
But the numbers for the rom-coms, like
They've been
anytime
low,
they
though.
go
They've
into
been
theaters,
low.
they've been low. But then exactly, so it's like what's been doing well in theaters? Horror, big budget action.
Yep.
That's it.
But that's
Yeah,
also
I think
because
that's more
but that's
ephemeral.
also, remember, like for me, movies were a babysitter. Like my aunt would drop me off, you'd go to the movies and you'd walk around the mall. It was
Yeah.
like Adam Sandler was our babysitter. You know, it was like, it was not so
but look
much.
where Adam Sandler stuff is now. Streaming.
Yeah.
Because
But they did
the
theatrically-
genre of film works for streaming.
Do you remember when Kevin Hart released a special in the theater?
Yeah, I was just.
Remember that?
That's what I
is
was
that what
about
you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like that
I was
did
like-
well.
How
That
did
was
that?
like-
Yeah, it
That did well.
That was like 15 years ago, bro.
It was a long
Nah,
time
I
ago.
don't think it was.
But,
that.
it's
like
like, but let me
2010.
ask you something. If your fans,
13 years ago.
your fans come
when
out.
we went out to the theater for that. Now going out to the theater for, like, I think comedies can be the biggest streaming movie in the world if it can, as long as it's easy access.
Yeah.
But like putting on pants and getting a babysitter
Yep,
to
yep,
see
yep,
the
yep.
same storyline with different actors
Don't
in
get
it.
babysitters. That's how I got molested. Take your kid to the movie.
Don't put that on Adam Sandler.
I'm telling you.
Come on. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So it's like, and Adam, I think, did a great job. His movie's absolutely crushed on Netflix. He just put the new one out with Jennifer Aniston, which I
Yeah.
think is like
Murder Mystery
2.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, those are gonna
Killers,
kill. That
killers.
movie with the about the gay rom-com. What is it called?
Billy Eichner's. It
Yeah.
was, by the way, hilarious.
Okay, so that movie, I didn't see it. So if it is good,
But he kind of turned it into homework. He turned it into like if you don't go see this, you're homophobic, and people are like,
Okay.
don't make it, don't
Okay.
yell at me.
The point is, if that's streaming, it does so much better. The fact that you gotta buy that, like, even if you're a straight dude, you gotta walk up to the thing. Can I get 2 to the gay movie? Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's already a barrier of entry, right? There's a long ass line. You got your
Bros, it's
fucking
called bros, yeah.
your like gym coach or whatever is too bad. Oh, what are you going to see? Maverick, Black Panthers. I want to see Maverick. You know what I mean? So it's like, but put
By
that
the way,
online.
Top Gun is, Maverick is so much gayer than Bros.
Yes, 100%.
Also, dude, you guys are worried about me. Why does Val Kilmer look like a nutcracker, dude?
Because he's dying.
He
of
went to
cancer.
fucking like
actually dying.
Sager's gum guy.
Dude, he's done.
He's actually dying.
Did you see the documentary about him now? There's a documentary about him.
Yeah.
Where he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
using the box to do the shit. It's like,
He didn't really speak in the movie.
no, I
That's
mean,
all CGI.
yeah.
He can't speak.
no, there's a documentary about him that
Yeah.
no one will talk about that is devastating.
Really?
It's just like him and which actually the first Hollywood party I ever went to was at Val Kilmer's house randomly.
Really?
And I was very
Were
poor.
you the nutcracker there?
I was. I had just gotten this pair of pants from Victoria's Secret catalog,
Hey.
not known for their high quality. I before I was like did stand up, like before you did stand up, did you do things
Supported Epstein's Island, by the way.
There you go. Les Wexner.
Val Kilmer did?
No, you, by wearing Victoria's Secret. Les Wexner is the only client of Epstein, and he has made.
Oh, that's right. There were a lot of secrets. If not, Victoria had a bunch, but there were a lot more. And
Victoria's 12.
Yeah. But I went into his house. It was like, I don't know. People just had parties. Like before Me Too, you could just have like 20-year-olds in your house. Like no one gave a shit. Like no one worried about lawsuits. I don't even know why the fuck I was in there because like had he looked at me sideways, I would have been like, settlement. Like I was the bitch that would have like needed to do something desperate. But like, do you have anything that before you became a comedian scratched that itch in other ways? Like I was like always the funny dancer on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was like funny dance. Now you won't catch me dancing at all. I already get to get my attention.
You had an
like,
outlet though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was like funny dancer. So I was like at Val Kilmer's house. I'm like, I gotta be a funny dancer. And rich people, dude, their houses are all like so slick.
Oh yeah.
Like it was just like a marble.
Pristine.
So I do like a go down to try to be funny, whatever, and rip my pants wide open. I'm wearing a red thong, so it kind of just looks like I have a bloody ass. Like it's just like a bad news. And I just beelined into Val Kilmer's closet and took a shirt and just wrapped it around my waist. And it was like there was like a purple like Hugo Boss shirt. Like every guy has that like lilac shirt.
You didn't go home?
No, I didn't have a car. I was with like a group of people. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah. But she had another song coming up.
I was at a Hollywood party. I was home, as far as I was concerned. That was the most loving family environment I've ever been in. And I put it around my waist, and it was like a very obviously like shirt you would notice that. And then he starts talking to me, and I'm wearing his shirt around my waist, and I'm like, is he gonna fucking notice that I took one of his shirts? And it never did. And then I sold it at Buffalo Exchange. I made like $40.
Wow.
When I had no money, I used to sell people's clothes.
Hollywood bling ring.
I was really good friends with Sean Lennon. I was in an acting class with him, and we were like good friends. And he would stay at my house sometimes, and he would leave shirts there that were like Duran Duran, like John Lennon, like shirts, and I would take them to Buffalo Exchange and sell them.
There's some hipster wearing an authentic John Lennon tee right now in Bushwick.
What it was, and like I would be able to get like $80, and he'd be like, "You see my shirt?" I'd be like, "I haven't." I don't know. I've told him since.
Jeez. What are your thoughts on Nepo babies?
I mean, look,
She just said she was good friends with Sean Lennon. What the fuck do you want her to say?
From who? No, I don't come from.
She knows all of them.
Well, it's also like I'm the opposite because it's like Michael Patrick King said to me once. He's who I made the show Two Broke Girls with. He was like, the problem with you is that you're an outsider that looks like an insider, and most of the insiders look like outsiders. So it was like Lena Dunham, like has connections to Hollywood, you know, and then I don't at all, but I'm the one that gets all the shit, you know. So, you know, I don't.
How do you think that is? Maybe.
I think I maybe want it more. I think that there's an.
You don't think there's.
I think that when you
has
come.
anything to do with the way you look and the way that Lena looks?
That was like not exactly.
She's half
an
Jewish.
example.
That's what it is.
Whatever.
Actually.
Schumer, whoever. Like, I think that.
Yeah, that's a much better example.
When you come from money, you have the privilege of not being desperate, and I would like. The show would come out, I would desperately be like, watch this, please. Like, I'm hungry.
All over it.
I have 2 parents that had strokes without health insurance. Like, I need to sell these tickets at Casino Pachanga. Like, and if you're a Nepo baby doing that, you're like,
you're trying too hard.
If people think you come from money, it's like, why do you need so much? But I think people just couldn't wrap around their heads that I come from, you know, I had $7 for 7
Do you
years.
think people really have an issue with nepotism, or they have an issue with themselves just not getting a role?
Hollywood's never been like fair. Why should it be?
That's
I
the
mean,
thing.
it's like neither sports.
Now
like,
this is a fucking wild take that the guys don't really appreciate.
I think it's sorry. Can I say something about Nepo
No,
babies?
I was in the middle of a sentence.
I know, but if we're moving on.
but we're not moving on. It's
But
about this.
okay.
It's about this. The Nepo babies' parents, right? A lot of them got raped for their roles in Hollywood, so that their kids wouldn't have to work so hard to get in Hollywood. So aren't they justified in the same way that like Akash's family comes over here, works their ass off so that he could be a comedian, right? Like having those families pay the ultimate price for their kids to have it a little easier.
Yeah.
Whereas like some actress whose parents didn't get raped, wannabe actress, now all of a sudden thinks she should just get the role.
Yeah, but that's flawed inherently in that if you're a the dad that's famous, you probably did raping and didn't get raped.
I don't believe it.
So if
sex
you're just
was-
the mom that's famous,
I think
if it's just the mom that's famous, they should be able to be Nepo baby.
I think consensual sex was a very recent thing.
That's fair.
Say again?
I think consensual sex is a very recent.
I'm really
invention.
just talking about this whole Me Too movement.
Yes. I just think it's more.
It's not like it was easy for those parents.
I think anyone putting their children in acting is a creep, whether they were in it, whether they weren't in it. I think it's bizarre. Like if you have been in the business and you,
I think that's fair as a general
and
rule.
I think if you've been in the business and you know what it's about, you know, and you put your kid in it, I think you're a worse person.
But it's not about put your kid. It's
because
like
I think it's your form of narcissism.
you value it so much. And like we learned earlier with you, you want to be inside the box your dad cared so much about. So imagine your parents, the only thing they talk about is film, TV, movies. This person doesn't deserve this person deserves that. The only thing that's important, their whole world is wrapped around it. That's how you're going to get the attention from these parents who maybe not in your life that much, is if you succeed at the thing that they're good at.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that like when I look at like the actors that I know that you're kind of referring to, I just don't think they're that as conscious. You know, I think that generation of like people in the business, like what they witnessed, what they saw, like, you know, like I told the story in my last special about a director that like took me into his trailer when I was trying to get Taft-Hart lead. And, you know, he lunged at me and it was like, he was, you know, trying to do something sexual with me. I was like so stunned and confused. I truly thought he had like fell. Like it was like such an, like it was so like, not, there was no buildup, there was no, you know, touching the knee. He just like lunged at me and I was like, are you okay? Like I thought he had like a heart attack or something. And
How embarrassing.
It was
to
awful.
try to rape someone and get sympathy.
Dude, it was
Like,
so,
think about
and then in that moment I realized that I embarrassed him and it was just, and I'm like trapped with this motherfucker that like never hears no. I'm like totally frozen, I'm fine, doesn't matter. But when I look back at that, you know, that had happened so many times with so many girls and there were so many people around that witnessed it. Now that I've like run shows, made movies or on sets, you're like at least like 30 people saw that. Because it's a lot of people's job to know where the director is. So I think it's like, even if you haven't participated in some bullshit, you've witnessed some bullshit. And to in any capacity want your kids to participate in that, especially girls, like I think it's just like a narcissistic compulsion of like I'm famous and I want my kid to be famous too, or like I don't want to have to
It's
parent.
like a trait of narcissism is that you see your kids as an extension of yourself.
Like when I hear about a celebrity that has a kid that I've never seen on a red carpet, and you're like, oh, they have another one that no one's seen. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like honestly, the person that I think has handled being a Nepo baby the best at this point is Chet Hanks. He's like, I'm doing my thing, dude.
He handled it the best.
Because to me, it's also the way maybe that they don't get pride the same way. I derive pride through everything I have, I earned. I did it the hard way, and like I don't want anything I don't deserve. Like that's just me personally. I like grew up on a lot of like cheating, and you know, my mom like was for all intents and purposes like a gold digger. You know, it was a lot of like we date this guy and we get this stuff, and I was like kind of pressured to date older men that would like, you know, because they had a car, they could pick me up from school, they would like get her a watch, and then it was like, don't fuck it up with this guy. You know, it's just like, I don't want anything I don't deserve. And I think if you're born into a famous family, you're always gonna, I mean, it's like Paris Hilton. She works so hard. She's an animal because it's like she wants to be known as her own thing. And she has to work so hard to get out from under the Hilton name. And it's kind of like just between her and herself at this point, because like, it doesn't feel good to her for people to go like, well, everything she has is because of this. Like she's trying to prove that she could have done it without it. And I think feeling that sucks. I mean, it was like a little version for me is, you know, when I was like first, you know, on TV, it was on Chelsea Handler's show, you know, and I was like, oh God, doing this a lot. Obviously, like I was able to sell out clubs and I was like able to like build a fan base, whatever. But I was like, am I always going to feel like I have this because I was on Chelsea's show?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but I think I have a thing in my head that's like, oh, I just want to make sure I've earned it all myself.
But you know, no one earns it all yourself. Like I have so much because of Charlemagne. I have so much because of Rogan. I have so much because of MTV.
But the person that you showed up, and the person you were on their shows, but being born as a Nepo baby, I just would always hate myself. Just being like, you know, I didn't get a chance to build something on my own, or no one is ever gonna.
Yeah, but you were born pretty.
I
That's
earned
an
it.
advantage. You were born smart. That's an advantage.
Yeah. I also think trauma is a privilege. Like I always like, no one, I guess, should intentionally inflict trauma on their children, although I feel like we can bring back hitting kids. I'm not even kidding. The kids I see around, I'm like, he just needs one, like, my mom was never around.
That was a joke.
My mom, just this little, like, don't you feel like you meet
It
people?
didn't stop in some
But
communities.
you meet people and you're like,
It's only white people like, we need to bring back hitting kids.
no, but it's like, oh, it never stopped.
It's just white people, rich white, and also not all white people, just the rich ones.
Have you ever met
that live
someone
in
that
New
you're
York and
like-
LA?
Your housekeeper
that don't
sells a
hit kids.
chancla in her hand.
Yeah, she's
This
ready
very
to
moment.
go.
Rule of thumb, is it rule of thumb? Like
Yeah,
the
it's the
etymology
width.
of that?
Yeah.
Is that
It's the width of a stick you're allowed to hit your wife with.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, it's just. Do you ever meet someone that you're like the only thing holding them back in life is just getting hit like once in a bar, like
A
someone
good
that
punch in the face. Yeah.
someone that just like killing it on social media, like just plays too much. You're just like,
Why do people always think that like that's gonna stop it? The biggest assholes are the ones that have gotten punched in the face and then have realized it ain't that bad.
Yeah.
There's this idea like, oh, we just need to get punched in the
No,
face,
it's a
and then
great
everybody
story.
goes, oh, I guess we should stop. World War I and World War II happened.
Yeah.
The Germans didn't learn a lesson. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Oh, we just one punch in the face and then everybody's normal.
Yeah.
No.
They just get better head
They're
movement.
worse.
Yeah. Just,
Hurt people, right? Like you abuse a kid, they abuse more. They don't
Yeah.
go, well, I'm never gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe.
not how it works.
I think sometimes, like, and I think it depends on the age. I think that, like, humbling, like, I had a couple humbling experiences, like, when I was a kid. And I think being embarrassed in a way that you can cope with to be better, like, because I think, they say, I don't know who they is, but that comedians become comedians to control how they're embarrassed because our biggest fear is embarrassment. And I realized at a young age, like, I had, like, bad skin, but I was always the kid that didn't have the right uniform, but the permission slip was never signed. Like, when you're from an alcoholic home, everything's a mess. Like, I would go to school late. I was the kid that, like in the photos, I was just like a fucking wet, just covered in, like, Smuckers and shit. Like, I was just like a mess, because my parents didn't have their shit together. I always had head lice. I always got sent home for head lice.
you had head lice?
Yes, dude. I had head lice. You definitely
Multiple
have it.
times?
Oh, yeah, I have it right now.
I had head lice for so long because if you have it, it's like all the kids have it, but you have to clean your sheets and vacuum. And remember that shit, Nix and Rid? Like, my parents wouldn't do the stuff to clean the house. And I would steal brushes I would like go to sleepovers just to steal from rich kids' houses. And I would steal brushes because they had these fancy ass brushes. And I was like using a fork, like fucking Little Mermaid or some shit. So it's like, I just wanted nice things. And we never had nice brushes, so I would steal them. And I had head lice a lot. But that embarrassment, I think, is something that will fucking get you, dude. And I think every now and then when you're, getting humbled. Like, my mom, like, she made a lot of mistakes, like, didn't want me, wasn't loving, didn't say I love you, but one time, because she was, like, she was always dating men to make money. I didn't realize that's what it was. I only saw it as you're leaving me. And I stole money out of her purse. My sister and I were running around the street. We were, like, homeless, like, going to raves and shit. We weren't homeless. We didn't want to go home. We were living on the street, and I took money out of her wallet. And she was like, did you steal the money out of my wallet? And I said, who cares? You're going to make more anyway because you're a hooker. And she smacked me so fucking hard. I mean, I remember hitting the wall and then hitting the ground. And my first thought, I just was like, thank God. I was like, finally. Like, I was like, finally, she mothered me. Like, I was like, they say that kids actually prefer abuse to neglect because at least you exist, or at least they care in some capacity. And it's like, that's how bad it had to get for her to pay any kind of attention to me,
right,
or discipline me in any way.
You're
like,
antagonizing, get a reaction.
Yeah, like, I was just like a punk, and like I wanted someone to just fucking humble me, or like you see how far you can go. I mean, you see with the animals, like working with animals, like they'll just test until you push back because they just want to know where they stand.
And boundaries are a way of
And
showing
I just
you
wanted
care.
not to be in charge because I was the one that was making breakfast. I had to drive her to the ER when she would, like, I had to drive myself to school. She would drive me to her job, and then I, like, drunk drive me to her job and forget to take me to school. And I just wanted someone else. It's like, I wanted to be dommed or whatever. And so, like, that, like, I remember lying on the ground and it feeling so good for that split second. Like, oh, I have a parent who's willing to do something that's uncomfortable for the greater good. Or, like, she has some self-respect or something. I don't know. I just, like... Or clarity. Like, your daughter's a fucking asshole.
Do something.
Why are you do something? You know? Like, we're running around the street, we're stealing from you, like, we're doing drugs. Like, what the fuck is your plan?
Why don't you care?
And why didn't you do this 5 years ago?
Did anything change after that, or was it the same behavior?
I think after that, I kind of just went cold with her. Like, we kind of became roommates because, you know, I've never heard of this, but in the custody battle, my dad got my sister and my mom got me. So we were in separate houses instead of like dad gets weekends and mom gets weekdays. Like, we were separated, and I lived in an apartment with my mom, like a really small apartment. And we were just like weird, awkward roommates.
That's odd. They
How old were
usually
you?
never separate the kids.
It's like psychotic.
How old were you?
Well, when we lived, when I came back, I was like sent away to live in Virginia with my aunts for a while, which is also another, when you're raised by not parents, that's kind of like I didn't realize how odd that was because I was raised by aunts that didn't have kids, you know? So it's like they just got me at like 10, but were like, hey, drive to the grocery store. And you're like, I'm a child. You know, like they didn't have maternal, you know, instincts necessarily. And they were like, you know, did drugs and whatever. Like, they just kind of were like taking me in, and they didn't know how long I would be there, I guess. So it was just like a very like lawless sort of thing. And that's when I really started checking out into fantasy and intrigue of like, I don't know, when you like first remember like visualizing your future or writing jokes or whatever. Like, there was like a typewriter downstairs, and I used to write like observations about like doilies. Like, I would like write, like, when you have that much time on your hands and all you're doing is observing things, you're like, you know, so I'd like write these little witty things, and then I would like interview myself. It's funny you bring up Oprah. I would like fantasize about being on Oprah as a guest. This is so psycho. And I think that the coping mechanism of it was like, I'm picturing myself having overcome it already. Do you know what I mean?
You were on the other side.
I was already like, you know, and my trauma taught me this and that. Like, I was already like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I remember being like, I need to get famous. I remember being like, that is, like, seeing famous people and being like, that is a life hack. Like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it.
They don't have problems.
Well, number one, my dad's gonna know who I am because I'm gonna be a household name. Like, he's gotta see me because I'm gonna be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't choose for me to go live with him, so I got to find a way to be in his living room.
And I think yeah, I mean, you know, when he had a trach in, basically, he couldn't talk, and but like
Val Kilmer.
You do like, what's that? After he had
Val
the
Kilmer.
stroke, the Val Kilmer, yeah, but it was like, it's like butterfly effect, like he was like stroke all the way down.
Did he ever say to you that he wished that you got that?
Got the
Jeez.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm on your side. I don't think women should,
was you.
I don't think women talking is like a profitable business either. Like, trust me, I think it's ridiculous. Why do you think I'm like investing in companies for your biological age? Like, this is like, we had a good run. It was like cute for a minute,
What's
but
your bio age?
my bio age, I mean, it could go either way. I could be like embalmed from like adrenaline and stress.
You haven't done it yet?
No, I haven't done the thing yet.
Aren't you invested?
Why haven't you done it?
Well, I don't know. We were gonna maybe do it today, or maybe I just want to do it with like people. I don't know. I want to do it with someone.
It's not ayahuasca.
I'm trying to have friends.
You've done it. I don't believe
No, I
you
haven't
haven't
done
done
it.
it. Bullshit.
Do you think I lie? You have a little
It's
bit
like the
of.
first time you take your SAT, it's not what you want. You're like, oh, I didn't take it yet.
Yeah. That's a practice run. Like, oh no, the 23andMe, dude. The number, I could not fucking gag into that shit. For so long, twice they sent it back, and they were like, you don't have enough spit. And I was like, then I guess I'm not gonna know.
You couldn't get enough spit?
No, I couldn't get enough spit into the 23andMe thing, but thank God, because that shit is like definitely selling our data.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Whatever,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
fine, you can have it. But I would
Whitney,
like to be.
Listen, I think the takeaway from this
Is that this
episode-
is my final appearance on the Flagrant
No,
podcast.
you're more than welcome to come every single time you want. One, you've come from an alcoholic home, and you have come from a really tough childhood and thrived and succeeded because of it. You have a lot of people who you care about and deeply care about you. You've become an incredibly successful and funny person, not just woman, person. You're going through a little bit of a lesbian thing right now.
It's just grief, dude.
Yeah, it's just grief.
But it's also, I have never been able to do what I wanted to do. It was always like, I have to do
We
this gig
weren't
to pay
going
for
back
this.
into the.
Okay.
We're wrapping up. So look.
I know, but when you fucking produce something,
No.
so
It's okay. It's okay. We don't need to.
Her
explain.
girlfriend's listening right now.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm just grief.
Dude,
You're
grief
more than
is
grief.
wild.
You're more than grief. Grief is so wild.
Grief
Look,
is a wild
The
drug.
point is, we love you. We appreciate you. We want everybody to go check out this roast that you did, which I think, because I did watch it, is very good. And it's very fun. And it's very unique. And I think I think people, and you can watch it for free. You don't have to sign up to OnlyFans.
No, it's total. I think comedy should be free if it's like the first thing that you know.
So I think it's great. So make sure you go check it out on OnlyFans.
Watch me have a nervous breakdown during the entire show.
It is a very fun. There's great comics on it. They make hilarious jokes. And
Comics
Bert is a great sport
because the
about
roast
it.
started
Yes.
having celebrities on it. Like,
I think there's a reason for that too, though. But that I think is good. But I think this is really cool. If you're a big fan of comedy, you're going to know who all these people are, and I think you really love it. You should absolutely check it out. And
there's a roast of me coming up. Is the next one.
Ooh, I cannot wait for this.
You will. I know. I'm really annoyed that you couldn't do it for a lot of reasons, but
I'm really excited for this one. Anyway, we love you. We appreciate you. Whitney Cummings, everybody.
I love you guys.